We have a basic human need to feel connected to nature, to the idea of something bigger, to one another. The Outer Banks of North Carolina, a chain of barrier islands shaped by wind and water, connected by the elements, just open spaces and endless possibilities.
Treasure memories in Corolla Outer Banks. Go to CorollaNC.com.
The water is what brought us here. It's our way of life, our playground. The water is what keeps us coming back. Find your calm at visitcurrituck.com.
My name is Terry Kirby Hathaway. I'm the Marine Education Specialist for North Carolina Sea Grant. I've lived out here on the Outer Banks for over 30 years and been beachcombing all that time. Such a wonderful place to beachcomb in all seasons of the year because you never know what's going to wash up. One thing that you find every day out here are oyster shells. What's really interesting is these oyster shells are probably at least 12 to 15,000 years old. They're fossils and people don't even realize it. You'll see baby's ears, which looks just like a tiny little baby's ear. We find moon snails or shark eyes. A lot of times you may find other kinds of bivalve mollusks or ones with two shells that have a perfectly round hole drilled in the shell. And it was drilled, it is a drilled hole, and it was drilled by a moon snail because they are voracious predators. And they drill with their tongue, which is covered with teeth. It's called a radula. And they can drill through the shell and get in and eat the animal. You can also find whelks. A lot of people refer to them as conchs, but conch is a Greek word for shell. We do not have true conchs in North Carolina. That's further south, down in Florida and the Caribbean. We have whelks, and we have 3 different species up here on the Outer Banks. We have a left-handed whelk, and we have 2 right-handed whelk. So it coils to the right or coils to the left. 2 different animals, both whelks, but the one that curves to the left is called a lightning whelk. The one that opens on the right, this one, is a knobbed whelk. And you can see the knobs on it. Then we have another one that opens on the right. Both of these, but if you look at the top, this one has knobs, the knobbed whelk. This one has a channel around the top. So that's the channeled whelk. But one of the favorites that is very rare to find here, and it's a real treasure if you find one, is a Scotch bonnet, which is North Carolina's state seashell. Another thing you may see are egg cases for some of the animals that live offshore. The whelks that I mentioned lay their eggs in long strings of capsules. In each capsule is 25 to 50 little miniature whelks. We also find skate egg cases, which are also called devil's pocketbooks or mermaid's purses, the little black pouches. The best place to find all these shells is right at the water's edge. The time to go for shelling or beachcombing, looking for beach class anything, is about 2 hours before and after low tide.
My name is Dana Thomason, and I work at the NC Aquarium on Roanoke Island. I'm actually part of the Education Department in Special Activities, and we oftentimes will find lots of sea turtles stranded here at the beach. It is cold sun season, so we're going to have turtles that are what we'd like to call hypothermic. Their body temperatures have gone below a certain point. When beachcombers come, they might see sea turtles stranded. They actually want to contact NEST. So NEST is actually a Network for Endangered Sea Turtles nonprofit organization that we actually work very closely with our Star Center. So that's where we have a really cool area at the aquarium, and they are volunteers that are trained through the Wildlife Resource Commission, and they'll actually contact Star Center and get things ready for an intake. We'll often find other larger animals, particularly marine mammals such as dolphins, whales, occasionally seals. You would actually contact the Marine Mammal Stranding Network. So that's another number that they would need to call. Another species you might find here in the Outer Banks, we have other types of birds that are here on our shores. They're resting, this is their natural behavior. So when beachcombers come to the beach, we actually would prefer all of our guests to kind of give them their space for the protection of those animals and respecting them as they're here on the beach.
Capacity to explore a passion while learning from the greatest to ever do it. Reliability to make those who are far away feel like they never left. Speeds for fueling moments of discovery while sparking curiosity. It's not just internet, it's a gateway to opportunities you never even knew existed. Ripple Fiber, multiplying potential for you, your family, and the community.
Whether you're here for a week or one long weekend, explore nature surrounded by the ocean and beside the ones you love. Welcome to the Currituck Outer Banks.
1, 2, 3.
I think the Outer Banks is unique. When we come down here, we can just relax.
When we were kids, we'd spend as much of the summer here as we could.
It's a lot of fun and cool things to do.
Yeah, I just like the area a lot. Always have.
We've been here in the spring, we've been down here at Thanksgiving, we've been down here at Christmas.
I have been coming here ever since I was a baby. Yep, and every year I love the Outer Banks.
I mean, this is more home to me than where I grew up.
The Outer Banks of North Carolina. Stir the soul.
PlayOBXGolf.com is your gateway to a great golf vacation on the Outer Banks of North Carolina. Stretched between the Sound and the Atlantic Ocean, the Outer Banks offers a one-of-a-kind coastal golf experience. 5 award-winning courses and well-appointed golf accommodations in a picturesque setting make the Outer Banks the perfect choice for your next golf getaway. And fall is the perfect time to experience the best weather and the best course conditions of the year. Your golf trip to North Carolina's Outer Banks is just a click away at PlayOBXGolf.com.
Something that people love about Edenton, including myself, is our beautiful architecture, our walkable streets, our safe downtown, and the fact that we are so hospitable. Beyond its historic legacy and beautiful architecture, Edenton is known for its strong sense of community. Our small town has a big heart, and we have always come together like a family. From saving our historic cupola house in 1918 to saving the Taylor Theater almost a century later. As close-knit as we are, we still love company and are eager to welcome others to experience Edenton for themselves. We have a community that's interested in preserving not only history, but exactly what Edenton has to offer, which is something rare, and without that community, we wouldn't be what we are today. Something that both visitors and locals get to capitalize on is our beautiful waterfront. Not only is the walkability safe and easy here in Edenton, but you don't have a bad view. You can walk up and down our waterfront, and from any angle, it's exactly the way you'd want to see it. Our historic trolley tour is a 55-minute tour that takes you through the historic district. We have the Roanoke River Lighthouse and many other gems that are still able to be preserved today. When you get to our downtown waterfront, you'll be greeted with the Penelope Barker House and Welcome Center, our Roanoke River Lighthouse, the Cupola House, streets lined with shops eager to have you come in, and some unique dining experiences made just for you. Whether you're in one of our local coffee shops, bakeries, or shopping downtown, you'll always find a friendly face and someone to help you along your way here in Edenton.
Oh, Santa here again for the Christmas shop and general store. You know, the general store has long been a favorite destination within our shop. You'll find favorites like candies and fudge, Heights chocolates, and ready-made Bavarian nuts. Plus, we offer a wide selection of made in North Carolina items, old-time candy, sodas, and more. And our wine section has an even larger selection than last year. With more wine tasting opportunities, it's all part of the experience at the Christmas shop and general store.
Welcome to Jeanette's Pier, the family fishing spot on the Outer Banks. Make memories for a lifetime while reeling in the catch of the day. From bottom fishing for spot and croaker to jigging for bluefish and Spanish mackerel, experience the thrill of catching a fish from this 1,000-foot-long concrete ocean fishing pier located at milepost 16.5 in Nags Head. Have fun in the sun while fishing with your friends and family. Surf, sun, fish, and fun. Experience it all at Jeanette's Pier, where fishing is catching.
I'm Roland McDevitt with the United States Coast Guard Auxiliary and the American Canoe Association.
And I'm Jules from Kitty Hawk Kites. We'd like to welcome you to the Outer Banks of North Carolina, truly a boater's paradise.
In the next few minutes, we'll count down the top 10 things you can do to make kayaking adventures as satisfying and safe as possible. Number 1, wear your life jacket. The Coast Guard requires you to have a properly fitted life jacket readily available on your kayak. And if you're under 13, you must be wearing your life jacket at all times while paddling. A life jacket only works if you're wearing it, and it's difficult to put it on while you're in the water. 85% of people who die in boating accidents were not wearing the life jacket at the time of the accident.
Number 2, other required gear. The Coast Guard also requires that you carry a sound-producing device. An inexpensive whistle attached to your life jacket meets this requirement. A white light is also required if you're on the water at night. If there's a chance you may not return before sundown, take along a waterproof flashlight so that other boaters can see you.
Number 3, buddy up. While you may not be venturing far from shore, paddling with a buddy gives you peace of mind that if anything happens, assistance is nearby. Stay close to your buddy or group so that you can enjoy the company and assist when needed.
Number 4, file a float plan. Make sure that a friend or family member on shore is aware of your plans. Let them know where you're headed, who's in your group, when you expect to return, and what to do if you do not return on time. And be sure to let them know when you're safely back on shore.
Number 5, bring your phone. Charge your phone and bring it along in a waterproof pouch. Save the number for the Coast Guard station at Oregon Inlet so that you can call them in case of emergency. That number is 252-441-6260. And consider a VHF radio. A waterproof VHF radio gives you immediate access to other boaters and the Coast Guard on Emergency Channel 16. It is designed for a marine environment.
Number 6, know the environment. Check the weather, especially the wind, and stay close to shore. In the Sound, wind can carry you away from land and make it difficult to return. It is always best to paddle into the wind and return with the wind at your back. In the ocean, surf can quickly capsize a kayak and rip currents can carry you out. A sit-on-top kayak is much easier to re-enter if you do capsize. Assess the conditions when you arrive and look for another place to paddle if you're not confident that your skills are a match for the conditions.
Number 7, dress for the environment. Hot weather calls for clothing and gear that can protect you from sun exposure. Cover up, use sunblock, and bring your sunglasses. Cold water immersion can result in cold water shock and hypothermia, even when the air temperature is comfortable. Wool and synthetics provide the best insulation when wet. Neoprene or a dry suit are the best protection from cold water immersion. It's particularly important that you stay close to shore when the water is cold.
Number 8, practice self-rescues. Before you get too far from the launch, jump off your kayak and practice getting back on. Be sure your paddling partner is nearby. This will give you the confidence you need in case you capsize during your adventure. If you fall off and can't get back on, stay with your kayak. Distances are deceiving, and the best bet is to hold onto your kayak until help arrives.
Number 9, bring water. Paddling in the sun, wind, and waves can tire you out quickly. Make sure to bring plenty of water. Take a break every 20 minutes to take a drink and take in the scenery.
Number 10, have fun. You're not prepared for a great day on the water. You'll be paddling in one of the world's most diverse marine environments, and whether you're on the Sound, on a river, or out in the ocean, you're well equipped for a safe and satisfying day on the water. Enjoy.
We have a basic human need to feel connected to nature, to the idea of something bigger, to one another. The Outer Banks of North Carolina, a chain of barrier islands shaped by wind and water, connected by the elements, just open spaces and endless possibilities.
Hi, this is Joey the Wine Guy, located in the general store of the Christmas Shop at General Store, located in Manteo, North Carolina, right here on historic Roanoke Island. Join me daily from 11 to 5 for free wine tastings here at the general store, where you can try it before you buy it. Be sure and try our featured German Christmas wine, just the thing to get you in the Christmas spirit all year long. And don't forget to ask me about special pricing on 6 and 12 bottle cases. Whether you're looking for a Chardonnay, a Cabernet, or your favorite Merlot, we've got it here at the Christmas Shop at General Store.
One of the things about fishing piers, we're kind of the bleacher seats of the fishing industry. We're the place where kids go for the first time. They'll rent a rod, we have bait and everything else. We show them how to use it, and a lot of times they'll catch their first fish. And that's a real thrill, going out there watching a kid yelling and screaming, caught his first fish, and we take pictures of it, but it's really neat. My name's Gary Oliver. I own the Outer Banks Pier. I've been here for 50 years now, which is hard to believe. Piers in North Carolina have played an important role along the coast in all the towns. They've been kind of the focal point. There used to be 30 piers along the coast. Now we're down to less than 20. And part of that is due to erosion and storms. And it's tough to maintain a pier, but I've been lucky. We've been, with 50 years I've been here, we've had a number of storms. Hurricane Isabel, we lost the most. But we've been able to repair it and keep it going, and it's been a joy.
One of the great things about fishing piers is that they create their own ecosystem, their own habitat. They actually attract the things that the fishermen are interested in. So barnacles grow on the pilings. The fish that eat those barnacles hover around the pilings, and the fish that eat those fish, the large game fish, move in, and that's what encourages fishermen to want to fish from fishing piers. Our goal is to encourage more people to care about and respect nature by putting them in touch with it on a daily basis. Here at Jeanette's Pier, we do that through fishing, education, and research. We promote ethical angling, catch and release, and taking only what you're going to eat that day so that you can come back tomorrow and do it all over again. We also encourage an appreciation of other wildlife that we see on a daily basis here, our sea turtles, shorebirds, and marine mammals.
My name is Brian Kearns. I'm the general manager at Nags Head Fishing Pier. We have a great diversity of fish located on this pier, which is kind of phenomenal throughout the year. Starts off in about May. We usually get a lot of speckled trout, some sea mullets and stuff like that. Later in the year, our big fish show up with our, cobias, king mackerels, which do pin rigging on the end of the pier. Later in the year, it goes into drum fishing, which is in October. It's one of the big draws. The Outer Banks is one of the drum capitals of the world. It's one of the few places you can come down and catch, 40, 50 pound giant class bull redfish. You can come out, you can catch what you want, have a good time, make some memories with your family.
Back in the 70s, we had a lot of farmers, and we had just a lot of people, they needed to catch fish to put in their freezers. Well, now it's more of an activity. It's not something that they do to feed themselves. So there's been a big change. And I've had a congressman out there fishing next to a guy who was homeless. You know, it's just, we get people from all walks of life.
One of our favorite things about fishing piers is that they originally were cultural and social centers of the community. The North Carolina Aquariums felt it was important to preserve this place here at Jeanette's Pier because we didn't want to lose that cultural and social center. Obviously, it's important to maintain access to the recreational fishery. The advantage of fishing piers is that we do that at an affordable price, so an entire family can enjoy a day on the water.
You do not have to have a fishing license to fish off the pier. We have a blanket license that's provided to you. The fee that you pay to come on the pier, if you only want to try to fish for a day, have a day, you know, where you don't have anything else to do, you want to spend it outside, over top of the water with a beautiful atmosphere, a beautiful view, you don't need to go buy a fishing license. You can come down, we offer all of that to you, free of charge, and we also have everything you would need to get exactly what you want to have done.
That's one of the really good things about a pier is the people you see every year, year after year, the same group come back and forth. I've got 4th generations now coming down to the pier. I'm getting older, but it's great. I've enjoyed it. It's been a great thrill for me to be here.
I think the Outer Banks is unique. When we come down here, we can just relax.
When we were kids, we'd spend as much of the summer here as we could.
It's a lot of fun and cool things to do.
Yeah, I just like the area a lot. Always have.
We've been here in the spring, we've been down here at Thanksgiving, we've been down here at Christmas.
I have been coming here ever since I was a baby. Yep, and every year I love the Outer Banks.
I mean, this is more home to me than where I grew up.
The Outer Banks of North Carolina stir the soul.
Jewelry by Gail is celebrating its 47th anniversary this year. In loving memory of Gail Kowalski, this hidden gem is open Tuesday through Saturday from 10 to 5. A shop that has something for everyone, featuring Gail's signature styles, all types of gorgeous jewelry, men's rings, a unique bridal section where you can build your own engagement ring, the Outer Banks' largest pearl selection, and so much more. Come find the perfect look for that special someone at Jewelry by Gail in Nags Head.
Do we mark time by what comes before and after? Or is it this moment and what we do with it that truly matters? The Outer Banks of North Carolina starts every day with an open invitation to explore, to pursue unknown outcomes, and challenge curiosities. To stir
Around the corner from the Albemarle Sound, Edenton Bay provides a scenic backdrop to its namesake town. Once a port for North Carolina's first colonial capital, today the waters attract travelers looking for calm, not commerce. And Edenton welcomes boaters with free boat slips for 2 nights. Whether by sea or land, let our historic lighthouse guide you to a relaxing bay that's a world away. Find your Eden in Edenton, the South's prettiest small town.
Whether you're here for a week or one long weekend, explore nature surrounded by the ocean and beside the ones you love. Welcome to the Currituck Outer Banks.
The Corolla Wild Horse Fund was formed in 1989 by a group of grassroots volunteers who had a deep concern about the wild horses who have lived here for 5 centuries getting hit by vehicles as the area became more and more developed. We have evolved now to the point where we have full-time staff, and our mission is to preserve and protect the last remaining registered colonial Spanish Mustangs left in the world.
How the wild horses of Corolla found their way onto the Outer Banks has always been a mystery. Karen felt that understanding their origin would help with the process of saving those remaining.
I looked into the North Carolina archives, and there are actually, we benefited because the Spaniards kept very meticulous ship's logs. And many ships that came over here, because this was basically uncharted water, ran aground on sandbars. And in order to lighten the load and refloat the ship, the heavy things went overboard, and one of the heavy things that went overboard was horses. And we know that every Spanish ship that came over to this part of the New World had horses on board. Some of the horses obviously were able to swim ashore because these sandbars that run off the island, the water's very shallow. If you watch people swimming in the ocean, they can be out quite far and only be up to their knees. So, and also there are 2,000 shipwrecks on the bottom of the Outer Banks, all up and down the coast. It's called the Graveyard of the Atlantic. And so it stands to reason that some horses were able to survive a shipwreck and swim ashore, and some are simply left behind when colonies failed. We do not interfere with them in any way unless it is a life-threatening or quality of life issue. We do not supplementally feed them in the winter. They're on their own. They're like deer and any other wild animal that lives here.
I'm the herd manager, so it's my job to actually go out, monitor, assess, count, maintain a healthy herd of wild horses. We have 138 horses here. And from my standpoint, it's very important to be able to evaluate an animal and to make sure that that animal is healthy, and therefore we can make a decision that can benefit that animal if the animal needs care. I think what's unique is the environment in which they live in. They're still horses, but how they get their daily and nutritional needs met is completely different than a domestic horse. So it's not necessarily understanding horses by themselves. It's being able to understand natural resources and the horses and the ecology between the two. People enjoy horses, hands down, and it's a beautiful sight to see them on the beach, especially if you were to look here and you were to see them adjacent to the water and the ocean. I mean, that's a beautiful sight, and I think everybody would be fortunate to see that. This herd of horses, they're living in an environment that we as people like to enjoy, especially in the summertime. So because of that, people have decided to make some of this their vacation spot or home. And they have acquired the land that the horses reside on. And that's a challenge because when you construct or develop a home, those horses lose resources that they need.
The area at Corolla where the horses have traditionally thrived has become a very popular holiday destination. The beach itself is designated as a highway, with hundreds of holidaymakers as well as locals using it as a thoroughfare. The land adjoining the beach is increasingly being built upon, and as the Outer Banks are separated from the mainland by a wide stretch of lagoon, the wild horses have learned to live amongst the trappings of a modern society.
There is a lot of interaction. And you know, for the most part, I think it goes back to education. People come here to see horses, and they, for the most part, I would say they try to be respectful and give them their space, but I don't think they really have a true understanding of what it means to be a horse here. And so if we could only talk to those horses, we would know a little bit more. I've come to appreciate all breeds of horses versus just one breed of horse. I came from a traditional quarter horse background, but since I've been here, I've been exposed to a unique horse that is definitely hardy. I think what's special about these horses is the environment in which they live in and how they have adapted to that environment. This can be a harsh place to live. In the wintertime, it's very cold. In the summertime, it's brutally hot. We have a lot of insects and biting flies, and I can only imagine if you were to compare these horses to a domestic horse, these horses, they're not cared for like a domestic horse. So it could be a challenge living in this environment. How they've adapted to it is amazing. And then how they've adapted to the people also. That's unique itself.
They're a very adaptable breed, otherwise they still wouldn't be here 5 centuries later. They've survived massive hurricanes, brutal nor'easters, insects, defied the diseases that affect other horses. But now they're having to deal with an influx of people. There are already about 700 homes constructed up there. There are 3,150 platted lots, and on any given day in the summer there can be 3,000 vehicles driving on the beach because the beach is the public road and that's how people have access to their houses. Our goal is to keep them wild and free as long as we possibly can. And that in itself presents a challenge because they are in an area where 70% of the land is privately owned, has been developed to a certain extent, and has the potential for more development as the years go by.
I think if we don't come up with a plan that considers the landscape, the horses, the people, I don't feel comfortable with their future here. Well, if we're going to be stewards of the horse, we need to come up with the solution. It's just like if we were to take on ownership of any other horse, we've decided to take on the responsibility of that animal. So if we're going to manage or take responsibility for these horses, yes, I think we owe them. Because we have deemed ourselves as the stewards of the horse.
Most golf courses try to take their design from their surroundings. Seascape Golf Links is no exception. What is exceptional, though, is how the sand dunes and maritime forest combine to create beautiful, playable coastal links. With dramatic elevation changes and ocean views. Seascape Golf Links, an 18-hole championship golf course, milepost 2.5 in Kitty Hawk. Call for tee times and ask about midday specials. 261-2158. 261-2158. Seascape Golf Links, a must-play for those who love the game.
Did you know that weed slows reaction time and impairs motor skills and coordination? Weed also disrupts learning and problem-solving skills. Whether you're a basketball player, surfer, skater, or student with other life goals, Outer Banks Hope Coalition reminds you to live life in focus. Don't let weed blur your dreams.
Connected to mainland North Carolina, yet seemingly a world away, Edenton is known as the prettiest small town in the South. Time passes slowly in the state's first colonial capital. The lure of historic sites, outdoor adventure, and friendly people draws visitors from near and far, whether by car or boat. Let our lighthouse be your beacon to a relaxing getaway on the Albemarle Sound. Find your Eden in Edenton, North Carolina, the South's prettiest small town.
My name's Al Adam, and I'm currently president of the North Carolina Beach Buggy Association. The association was actually chartered in Nags Head in 1964 with a mission of maintaining access for ORVs on the beaches of the Outer Banks and all of North Carolina. The name of our association doesn't truly reflect what we do. Most of our members, our 3,500 plus members, drive pickup trucks or sport utility vehicles, not actually beach buggies per se. The driving on the beach became popular with the advent of commercially available four-wheel drives. That happened in the late 60s to mid-70s. Prior to that, the four-wheel drive industry was mostly military vehicles, which did go back to the early 1900s, but they were rarely seen for public purchase. Prior to four-wheel drive vehicles, many people drove the beaches of the Outer Banks to go fishing, do various things that they enjoyed on the beach. They did it with two-wheel drive vehicles, and they did it by running very low air pressure, maintaining a footprint on the sand, much like putting a snowshoe on in snow, something to reduce the PSI pressure on the sand to give you a flotation. The Hatters didn't have a paved road the length of the island until 1953 or 54. So if you wanted to travel up and down the island to the ferry at Oregon Inlet, you used the beach. And that was done primarily with two-wheel drive vehicles, including a bus service that regularly ran from Hatteras Village all the way up to Oregon Inlet to the ferry. Before the advent of four-wheel drive, if a fisherman wanted to get to his favorite remote spot that wasn't readily accessible by hiking, they would use a two-wheel drive vehicle. It was recommended to bring friends along with you because you were going to get stuck and you need somebody to help push. Four-wheel drive vehicles changed that game. So it's a privilege we like to maintain. We want to do that by promoting good beach driving ethics and by following the rules of the individual agencies that govern different parts of the beaches. It may be county, it may be municipality like Nags Head, it may be the National Park Service like Hatteras Island. The rules that they have are focused on safety and preserving the resource. No driving on the dunes. From a safety aspect, we want to be careful of pedestrians and other vehicles. The speed limit is 15 miles per hour. The single most important factor, air down. Low air will allow you to remain on top of the sand instead of burying in the sand. Please air down before you go on the ramp. We frequently see people stuck on the ramp. That doesn't help anybody. Air down prior to going on the beach. You'll do yourself, your vehicle, and other drivers a favor. Slow and easy wins the day on the beach. When you turn, you want to make as gradual a turn as possible. No sharp turns. Turning your wheel sideways in the sand, you start to plow, and that slows you down and can lead to getting stuck. The only other thing that's always a good policy, unless you're the first guy on the beach for the day, it's fairly safe to follow somebody else's tracks. If somebody else has gone there, they've driven over it, and they're not stuck in the middle of those tracks, there's a good possibility that's a safe place to go. And other than that, slow and steady, low air pressure, you'll have a good day on the beach.
My name is Karen Spruill, and I'm the chef here at the Time and Tide Cafe. And today we are going to be making a North Carolina style pimento cheese. What you will need for your pimento cheese is 8 ounces of cream cheese, 2 cups of cheddar cheese, a half a cup of Parmesan cheese, a teaspoon of Worcestershire sauce, a pinch of black pepper, a pinch of salt, a half a teaspoon of deli mustard, and the pimentos. When you start your pimento cheese, you need to take out your cream cheese for about an hour before you make it so it'll get nice and soft. Then we want to add our cheddar cheese, our Parmesan cheese, our Worcestershire, our black pepper, deli mustard, a pinch of salt, and the pimentos, which I roasted earlier today. We knead it together with your hands. You marry it together and mix it together until you don't see the white of the pimento cheese, because it'll all be blended in. And what gives us this color is the pimentos along with the cheddar. What makes this pimento cheese is so good is that it's got so much flavor. The pimentos bring it out. You can't really taste the mustard or the Worcestershire sauce. It's just the blend of all the cheeses in there together. You can put it in a sealed container, and it'll be good for a week in the refrigerator, up to 7 days. A lot of people will do a grilled cheese with it. They will have a grilled cheese with bacon with it. Other than that, it's just a sandwich, or we'll take and put a small scoop out with crackers as a snack.
Capacity to explore a passion while learning from the greatest to ever do it. Reliability to make those who are far away feel like they never left. Speeds for fueling moments of discovery while sparking curiosity. It's not just internet, it's a gateway to opportunities you never even knew existed. Ripple Fiber, multiplying potential for you, your family, and the community.
In a world of ordinary vacations, live the extraordinary. Book the real Outer Banks.
The water is what brought us here. It's our way of life, our playground. The water is what keeps us coming back. Find your calm at visitcurrituck.com.
Welcome to Cape Hatteras Lighthouse. You all are going to be climbing the tallest brick lighthouse in North and South America. So we're going to be going up 257 stairs, and it's the equivalent of climbing a 12-story building. So I hope you did your stretches for this morning. Let's go ahead and get started. So this is the fuel storage tank, and this is where they would store all of the kerosene fuel to light the Fresnel lens that was lit up at the top. So the lighthouse keepers, they would have had to carry 2 40-pound fuel canisters up the lighthouse with them. So there's 8 landings in the lighthouse, and those were designed for the lighthouse keepers to stop, set their oil tanks down, and take breaks, which is what we're going to do today. So these stairs were all replaced in 2008. They used the original molding, so it looks very similar to the original, but it's the new cast iron. There are alternate landings all the way up throughout the lighthouse, and on each landing there's a window. There's a north-facing view and a south-facing view. So they provided these windows for us because obviously there was no electricity, so it provided a lot of light for the lighthouse keepers, and also to get some nice airflow circulation throughout the lighthouse. The windows during the summer, when the lighthouse opens in the 3rd Friday of every April, the maintenance crew will open the windows and they'll stay open all summer long unless we have a big hurricane coming, then they'll come and close the windows. The next landing that we're going to be getting to is the halfway mark. So after this landing, we have 124 more stairs to climb. And you'll notice this piece of railing that is going through the center of the lighthouse. Now it's wired for electricity, but in the olden days we had a Fresnel lens that lit the light. And so there would have been 150-pound weights that would slowly descend through the middle of the lighthouse, and this railing would guide those weights down. So the momentum of those weights falling through the center would cause the Fresnel lens to spin, so it kind of worked as a grandfather clock. We actually had one of the last lighthouse keeper's daughters who grew up here, and she was telling us stories of how her and her sisters would swing from the weights side by side to play inside of the lighthouse, which was really neat. As they were building the lighthouse board wanted this lighthouse to be the most imposing and substantial lighthouse on the continent, if not the world. And so that's why they used only the finest materials to build the lighthouse. So when we get up to this landing, you'll notice the black slate and the white marble that is on all of the landings. And so if you look really closely, you can see actually some fossils in the black slate. And then the base of the lighthouse was mined from a quarry in Vermont, and it's all granite on the base. The lighthouse keepers had many jobs in the lighthouse, and one of them was giving tours to local residents. When the lighthouse was electrified in 1934, everybody wanted to come and see the electric light in the lighthouse. And so our last lighthouse keeper we had, Mr. Unaka Jeanette, he wrote in his journal that he gave 17 tours to locals throughout the day. So can you imagine climbing up and down the lighthouse 17 times in one day? You can see that the paint is chipping along the walls here. Typically every 5 years the lighthouse gets painted, and it was last painted in 2014. They used 450 gallons of paint to do that. The final staircase is a little bit different. There's no handrails, and there's a door that leads to up on the balcony, and this door was used for really gusty days or during storms. The lighthouse keepers could close that. That way the gusts coming up through the lighthouse wouldn't blow out the oil lamp. The lighthouse is still in operation to this day. We have a 7.5-second flash, and the light goes out into the ocean about 20 miles on a clear day. And it's still used as a second form of navigation, although a lot of mariners these days are using GPS in more modern form. This still serves as a confirmation for local fishing boats and mariners out at sea. And now we're entering to where the pedestal once stood. So the Fresnel lens would have been 12 feet high by 6 feet wide, and the base of it would have been right here where this table was. And this is closed to the public. Only the Coast Guard is allowed up there to change the bulbs twice a year. The bulb that is in the lighthouse now is 800,000 candle power. It's a 1,000-watt halogen bulb, and one bulb costs $240 to replace. We have now made it to the top, so welcome. This summer is really unique because we are celebrating the 20th anniversary of the lighthouse being moved here at Cape Hatteras National Seashore. And when you're up on top of the balcony, you can actually see where the lighthouse used to sit in its original location and the moving path that the lighthouse took to get here. So the lighthouse used to sit, if you can see that brown structure going into the ocean over there, that's the groin. There were a series of 3 of those built to help restore the beaches. And the lighthouse sat right in front of that first groin, right behind that grassy sand dune. You can kind of see a big sandy area. And this clear cut through the trees right here is the moving path that it took to get from all the way over there to right here where we are today. It was a 23-day long journey to move it 2,900 feet, so just over a half of a mile. 20 years ago, everything was moved, not just the lighthouse. So if you look down, you can see the two homes where the lighthouse keepers once lived. All of those buildings were moved as well, along with the sidewalk. So everything's in proportion to how it was set up in the old location. In the new location, it was put about 1,500 feet away from the ocean. And back in 1870, when this lighthouse was built in the old location, it was about 1,500 feet from the ocean then. And now you can see just how close the ocean is. So it's possible with barrier island migration and how these islands move, that in the next 80 to 100 years, we may be facing the same situation we did 20 years ago. You get a really great shot of Cape Point over here, and this was pretty much the main reason why we needed such a tall lighthouse in the area. We have two really major currents that are basically meeting right over there at the point. We have the Labrador current that's flowing north to south with the really cold water, and then of course we have the Gulf Stream that is flowing south to north with that really warm water. And with those currents, they push a lot of sand and sediment, which builds underwater sand mountains basically. And some of these sand mountains can be about 250 feet high under the water. So mariners would be in really deep water, and then all of a sudden the bottoms of their boats would hit these big shoals under the water. And so this area out here is called the graveyard of the Atlantic because so many ships wrecked out along the shore here of the Outer Banks. We really hope to see you in person here on the grounds. The lighthouse is open for climbing daily until Columbus Day, October 14th. We are open 9 o'clock is the first climb every day, and you have to be here by 4:30 to get your last climb at 4:40 of the day. So thanks for visiting, and we hope to see you soon.
I'm Noah Snyder, former professional surfer. Now I run a gym and been swimming in the ocean my whole life. The power of the ocean deserves everyone's respect. Even on those calm days, it's hard to see the powerful rip currents that are present up and down our East Coast. Every year, unsuspected swimmers find themselves in the grip of a rip, and many of them lose their lives. Such tragic events can easily be prevented with a few local tips. Know before you go, check your local beach forecasts before you head out, and always swim near a lifeguard. And if you find yourself caught in a rip current, don't panic, float, wave, shout till help arrives. If you're a good swimmer, don't fight the rip, swim parallel to the beach until you get free of the current's hold. Live like a local, love the beach, and respect the ocean.
Welcome to Jeanette's Pier, the family fishing spot on the Outer Banks. Make memories for a lifetime while reeling in the catch of the day. From bottom fishing for spot and croaker to jigging for bluefish and Spanish mackerel, experience the thrill of catching a fish from this 1,000-foot-long concrete ocean fishing pier located at milepost 16.5 in Nags Head. Have fun in the sun while fishing with your friends and family. Surf, sun, fish, and fun. Experience it all at Jeanette's Pier, where fishing is catching.
Oh, hello, Santa here at the Christmas shop and general store. Our elves have been busy again with all kinds of new rooms full of ornaments and gifts, like Whoville, the wondering world of Harry Potter, a new coastal room full of everything coastal like shells and glass ball ornaments, and a new room dedicated to everything Outer Banks, so you can take some of our magic back home with you. You have to come see it for yourself. 25,000 square feet of Christmas magic.
What lies beneath the surface? The waters of the Outer Banks share their secrets, one cast at a time. Total relaxation, absolute exhilaration. The Outer Banks of North Carolina, a chain of barrier islands shaped by wind and water, connected by the elements, just open spaces and endless possibilities.
For over 40 years, I've dreamed of building a bigger and better Jolly Roger.
And now your dream is a reality.
Yay!
Carolan has transformed the Jolly Roger into the hottest new restaurant and bar that is the best venue on the beach for great entertainment, gaming tables, and NTN games.
My dream has come true, and I can't wait to share our new restaurant and bar with you.
Come see us at the new Jolly Roger.
It's classic Outer Banks.
The Jolly Roger Restaurant.
I'm Barry Price for the town of Nags Head. Have you recently moved to Nags Head from outside our area and want to become a little more familiar with some of our unique cultural norms and what you can expect from life here on the OBX? Well, you're in luck. I'm here to show you how you can be as unique as the rest of us here. Here on the Outer Banks, we don't have a lot of streets, but we do have a lot of names for them. For example, I'm here at Nags Head's Dowdy Park at 3005 South Croatan Highway, AKA US 158, AKA the bypass. Well, what does the bypass, you ask? Well, when it was first built, Croatan Highway was designed to detour traffic past the main business districts, then lining the busy Virginia Dare Trail, AKA NC-12, AKA the Beach Road. Catch my drift? Ah, the milepost markers. Starting at milepost 1 near the Wright Memorial Bridge, the mileposts make it easier for newcomers to find businesses on the northern Outer Banks. But now that you know the difference between the bypass and the beach road, you likely won't need those milepost numbers anymore. Plus, they aren't much help in an emergency when first responders need an actual address to find you quickly. By the way, be sure to pass this tidbit along to your friends and family. Knowing the addresses of where you are, even when on the beach, is really important if there's an emergency. Dispatchers will be able to get help to you much quicker than if you say, I think I'm near milepost 16. Our beaches are some of the best on the East Coast, perfect for everyone to enjoy. But have you ever noticed that on some days the water is warm and clear, and on other days, well, the water is nearly frigid? That's upwelling. On the Outer Banks, upwelling happens when a strong offshore wind, like the southwest breezes we have here during the summer, pushes the warm surface water out to sea, allowing deeper, colder water to well up from below. Now that you're a Nags Head local, you can impress others with this kind of information. Speaking of the ocean, as an Outer Banker, you need to know how to spot and survive a rip current. And don't forget to share this information with friends and family. Remember, when red flags are flying, swimming in the ocean is prohibited. Check out lovethebeachrespecttheocean.com for more information on rip currents, or ask one of our lifeguards before heading in for a dip. If you see smoke plumes rising into the sky in late winter or early spring, chances are the smoke's coming from a prescribed burn on undeveloped public land nearby. These burns are used to keep the land's ecosystems healthy and our area's homes, businesses, infrastructure safe. Hurricanes are a fact of life here on the Outer Banks. Before every relative and friend calls you to ask about hurricanes bearing down on your new home, make sure you're prepared. What do I mean? Well, get your information from trusted official news sources, not John's weather forecasting or social media pages that just want to get you riled up. Instead, monitor the National Hurricane Center's website at nhc.noaa.gov, and for local weather forecasts, visit the National Weather Service Forecast Office in Newport Moorhead City's website at weather.gov/MHX. Follow the town of Nags Head, nagsheadnc.gov, and Dare County Emergency Management, darecountyem.com for local information, and sign up for their emergency alerts. Have your hurricane evacuation kit already prepared. Know your evacuation zone and route and where you plan to evacuate to. Be sure you have identification you need to return to Dare County, such as re-entry permit from Dare County Emergency Management. Visit their website, darecountyem.com, for more information. So there you have it. Let's keep these unique cultural norms between us, okay? Oops, I forgot one. Google sonic booms and then Google Seneca guns. You choose which one you want to believe. Welcome to Nags Head. Welcome to paradise.
Head up Highway 12 to where the road ends and you'll find the legendary Corolla Wild Horses, iconic historical sites, unique shopping and dining, outdoor events, and more. Take a day and find yourself here.
My name is John Carter. I'm from Kitty Hawk, North Carolina. I am a surfer, surf photographer, environmentalist. The marine life found in our oceans deserves everyone's respect. It's important to remember that the ocean is home to many beautiful and sometimes dangerous marine life. Dangerous interactions with such marine life can be easily prevented with a few local tips. Always swim near a lifeguard. Shuffle your feet as you walk in the water to avoid skates and rays. Don't swim too far from the shore. Avoid water at night, dawn, or dusk. Stay clear of any wildlife swimming in the water. Avoid waters being fished and those with schools of bait fishes. Diving seabirds are a good indicator of such activities. Live like a local, love the beach, and respect the ocean.
Text OBX Beach Conditions to 77295 to sign up for daily beach forecast and condition reports. For terms of service and privacy policy, visit obxalerts.com.
There were two different means of rescue that these stations utilized. One was to launch a surf boat. The other is called the beach apparatus drill. What the beach apparatus drill consists of, a beach cart with a lot of lines and all this equipment, which is pulled out to the beach. They could fire this small cannon called a Lyle gun, and it could be fired out to the ship with a small line attached called the shot line.
So they would try to get the line up in the rigging so somebody can grab it, tie it off, and then we can start pulling the other line. And once all those things are tied off, the whip line is attached to the pulley system so that the breeches buoy can come back and forth with the victims that are in it.
From about 1871 until 1954, when these stations were decommissioned and helicopters started sort of taking over, this means of rescue was used in the attempt to rescue about 178,000 people. The beach apparatus drill that we do here at Chickamaucomico, we always strive to be as close as we can to 100% historically accurate. It is a reenactment of the training that they did to prepare themselves for a rescue. But just like they did, we do it on Thursday afternoons at 2 o'clock. If you have kids between the ages of about 6 and 10 or 11 years old, when you come down here, there's a chance one of your kids may be chosen to ride in the breeches buoy. We rescue a kid every week.
Some people say the Outer Banks has the best fishing spots. Some people talk too much. The Outer Banks of North Carolina, conveniently located just beyond compare.
Oh, Santa here. Do you know that the Christmas Shop and General Store has the largest display of Christmas gifts and ornaments in the Outer Banks? Nutcrackers, collectible Santas, snow and Christmas trees, personalized ornaments, and so much more. A room full of gifts that remind you of your pets, a nativity display that'll blow you away. It's surely a destination that brings joy to so many. We can't wait to see you at the Christmas Shop and General Store.
Yo, what's up?
Yeah, Cyrus.
What? Oh, Vinny! Vinny just got, oh my God.
There's more to the story at rawobx.com.
Oh, Santa here again for the Christmas Shop and General Store. You know, the General Store has long been a favorite destination within our shop. You'll find favorites like candies and fudge, Heights chocolates, and ready-made Bavarian nuts. Plus, we offer a wide selection of made in North Carolina items, old-time candy, sodas, and more. And our wine section has an even larger selection than last year. With more wine tasting opportunities, it's all part of the experience at the Christmas Shop and General Store.
Take a tour of an Outer Banks icon and experience what life was like here in the Roaring 20s. Whalehead in historic Corolla Park is a beautifully restored Art Nouveau masterpiece and museum located on the Currituck Sound. For tour information, go to visitwhalehead.com.
Thomason, and I work at the NC Aquarium on Roanoke Island, and I work in the education department and special activities, and I work with our box turtles pretty much on a daily basis. And in case you're wondering what is a box turtle, it is a type of reptile we find here in North Carolina. The species is found all across the NC state, and he is actually an eastern box turtle. And some fun facts about box turtles is they can actually go inside their shell, so he has a very special adapted trait. And it actually goes back to the 3 body parts to their shell. So the top part, we're gonna call it the carapace. All right, you can see that nice defined vertebrae. The bottom, we're gonna call it the plastron. All right, and it's the plastron that allows him to have a hinge that allowed the turtle to go completely inside. So that's his head, his arms, and his legs. And then lastly, what connects the two is called the bridge. And box turtles, they're really cool. You might find them in your backyard or in the forest. They are along the bottom looking for different type of food. They are omnivores, meaning they eat both plant and meat, but not a cheeseburger. These guys will actually eat a lot of insects like crickets, worms. Their favorite color will be red. So here at the aquarium, we feed them lots of tomatoes, strawberries, raspberries. That color just kind of draws them in. And box turtles have a couple of threats that they might face out in their habitat. The first one could be a type of maybe pollution. So pollution could be trash pollution, could be also their habitat loss. They no longer have their habitat to kind of go about and find food and have space and make lots of babies. And the last thing could be road mortality. So as the females, 'tis the spring season, they're out of their bromation period. They're gonna come up and they're gonna be wanting to lay their eggs on any type of land. And when that happens, sometimes they have to go over a road here at a developed island. So sometimes they might get hit by a car. If you see a box turtle trying to cross the road, what you can do is maybe with an adult with you is to help the turtle go to the side it's trying to get to. All right, if you're trying to put him to the opposite side, he's just gonna come right back over. So make sure if you see a turtle, make sure you have a parent with you and get him back over to where she's trying to go or he is trying to go. Another good thing is we like to say, let wild be wild. As turtles, they're really cute, but many of them do belong out in the wild in their habitat. They do play an important role in the ecosystem. So what you'll wanna do is make sure that they stay in their habitat if you do find a baby box turtle or an adult box turtle, because their habitat is like their home. Come on over to the NC Aquarium on Roanoke Island and learn much more about these turtle species like our box turtle, and we thank you guys for watching.
PlayOBXGolf.com is your gateway to a great golf vacation on the Outer Banks of North Carolina. Stretched between the Sound and the Atlantic Ocean, the Outer Banks offers a one-of-a-kind coastal golf experience. 5 award-winning courses and well-appointed golf accommodations in a picturesque setting make the Outer Banks the perfect choice for your next golf getaway. And fall is the perfect time to experience the best weather and the best course conditions of the year. Your golf trip to North Carolina's Outer Banks is just a click away at playobxgolf.com.
Tide's starting to come in now.
What's up, guys? Looks like you found a good spot for us.
Yeah! Hey! I seen on it.
There's more to the story at rawobx.com.
Hi everyone, I'm Claire and welcome to Wright Brothers National Memorial.
This is Fort Raleigh National Historic Site.
And Cape Hatteras National Seashore.
And welcome to the national parks of the Outer Banks of North Carolina. There's so much to do and see here, so let's check it out. Here at Wright Brothers National Memorial, we explore the story of Wilbur and Orville Wright, two brothers from Dayton, Ohio, who, through experimentation, hard work, dedication, perseverance, a little bit of failure, and a lot of learning, managed to fly the first ever controlled, powered, manned, heavier-than-air plane. Wilbur and Orville made the arduous journey here from Dayton, Ohio, between 1900 and 1903. For the first 2 years, they were living in a tent, and the second 2 years, they were in a shack, and they actually had a kitchen to cook on. For the first 3 years that they were here, they weren't even doing any flying experiments. They were just gliding, trying to manage the control in the air. So they would jump off of Big Kill Devil Hill right behind me and try to get as far as they could. And finally, in 1903, they decided that they had mastered control and they were going to move on to powering this thing. So they built an engine, they created propellers, and put it onto their flyer. And it was finally on December 17th, 1903 that they made that successful first flight. Aviation technology took off in leaps and bounds after this first flight in 1903. Soon we were crossing the English Channel, and then crossing oceans, then we were flying around the world, and then we're into space. We go to the moon, now we're on other planets. The Wright brothers' dream of getting into the air and pushing the limits on what was possible has inspired millions of people. Neil Armstrong, when he was on the moon, had in his pocket a piece of the original 1903 Wright brothers flyer, and now we have it in the museum today. And in fact, there's so much to do here. We have the museum, which explores the full story of the Wright brothers. We have the flight room with the reproduction of the 1903 original flyer. We also have the reconstructed camp building, so you can see what it would have been like to live and work here in the fall on the sand dune. We have the first flight boulder that marks the exact spot that Orville took off from the very first time. We have the monument at the top of Big Kill Devil Hill, the Art Deco style granite monument, on the same hill where they did their gliding experiments from. On the other side of the hill, we have the first flight sculpture, which was put in for the centennial of the first flight. And this is life-size, and you can walk among the people that were there that day, and it really captures the emotions well. There's so much to do and learn here, so hopefully I'll see you soon.
Here at Fort Raleigh, this is the site of the first English settlements in North America. If you've heard of Jamestown, if you've heard of the Pilgrims, this is the beginning of the story here. This is also the place where Algonquin people had lived for 800 years before they met and interacted with the English immigrants. This is a site during the Civil War where over 3,500 African Americans made their way to Roanoke Island and built what we call a freedmen's colony as they made their journey on the Underground Railroad. This is a place where you can step back in time and try to imagine what life was like. Can you imagine being an English colonist and stepping on board a wooden vessel, a small wooden vessel, and sailing for 3 months across an ocean to an unknown land? Can you imagine having lived here your whole life as an Algonquian, all of a sudden seeing these newcomers arriving and interacting with these different people from a different place? Can you imagine what it would be like for one of the Freedmen's Colony members to set foot on Roanoke Island and gain their freedom for the very first time? Fort Raleigh has a lot of different activities that you can enjoy. There's trails that you can walk. There are 2 soundside beaches that you can enjoy. There's a visitor center that has artifacts dating over 400 years old that have been found here in the park. There's ranger programs. You can join us and try to learn a little bit more about the lost colony and see if you can uncover that mystery for yourself. There's also picnic grounds and an outdoor theater called the Lost Colony Outdoor Drama. So if you're visiting in the summertime, you can come see Broadway outside.
Here at the seashore, we have 70 miles of beaches. And so most people who come to the seashore like to engage in beach activities, whether that's swimming, shell collecting, or just sunning themselves on the beach. But there's so much more to do here on the seashore than just what you typically would think of. Here at Hatteras National Seashore, there's so much cultural history that people don't realize, whether that be lighthouses and the light keepers themselves and their amazing history, life-saving stations, some of the war activity that's taken place from Civil War to World War I, World War II, all the way down to Blackbeard, the pirate. Is kind of Ocracoke Island was kind of a little home area for him, and that's actually where he perished. So there's plenty of things to learn about, but it's also not just history. There's a lot of nature and natural stuff to be able to do, whether that be sound side or ocean side. We have a lot of nesting shorebirds, and so people will come and check out those birds. But maybe even more popular is in the summertime the sea turtles, mostly loggerhead turtles, but there's a couple others. They come and nest here, and whenever those baby turtles kind of come out, and we call it a boil because there's so much activity. It's almost like a pot of water boiling, but to be able to see those little sea turtles race towards the beach is something spectacular. There's so much to do and learn here.
Whether you like to learn about history or science, like to get out and explore, like fishing or swimming, or just like to sit and relax, there's sure to be something exciting for you to do here in the national parks of the Outer Banks of North Carolina.
Just across the Wright Memorial Bridge, you'll find one-of-a-kind experiences await you. Don't let memories you'll treasure pass you by on the road to the Outer Banks. Take a day and find yourself on the Currituck mainland.
Despite what you've heard, 911 cannot locate you immediately when calling from a cell phone. Do you know the street address of your location in the event of an emergency? When you call 911, we don't either, unless you can tell us.
There are few things as refreshing or more relaxing than a ride across the Sound or the river on a North Carolina ferry. There's the smell of the salt air and the wind blowing through your hair. Some people ride every day on their way to and from work, or even to and from school. Some folks only get to ride the ferry once in a while when they're visiting the coast. And for those of you who have never been on a ferry before, today, we're going to ride not one, but a number of the different ferries in the Tar Heel State on this edition of My Heart Will Always Be in Carolina.
Jewelry by Gail is celebrating its 47th anniversary this year. In loving memory of Gail Kowalski, this hidden gem is open Tuesday through Saturday from 10 to 5. A shop that has something for everyone, featuring Gail's signature styles, all types of gorgeous jewelry, men's rings, a unique bridal section where you can build your own engagement ring, the Outer Banks' largest pearl selection, and so much more. Come find the perfect look for that special someone at Jewelry by Gail in Nags Head.
This North Carolina Department of Transportation map shows all of the rivers and sounds that you would have to drive around when traveling through coastal Carolina if it were not for the North Carolina Ferry Service. We had an exciting idea. How many ferries can you ride in one day? To find out, we knew we would have to start early. It was going to be a challenge, but we were up for the test.
Welcome on board the W. Stanford White, one of 5 ferries we're going to ride today. On this leg of the journey, we're crossing over the Pamlico River from Bayview to Aurora. At the end of the day, we hope to cross the Currituck Sound to our final destination on Knott's Island.
The Pamlico River Ferry is one of the most important ferries in the system. As we will learn, many people who work on the other side of the river ride the ferry every day from Bayview to the mining operation on the other side. The ferry terminal at Bayview is located just a little southeast of historic Bath, North Carolina's oldest town. And at one time, the pirate Edward Teach, better known as Blackbeard, called Bath his home. Bath was incorporated in 1705. A stroll down the historic street and through the waterfront park can be quite enjoyable. Now it's back to the W. Stanford White, on our way across the Pamlico River.
Tell us a little bit about your work here on the ferry and coming to work here every day.
Well, there's a lot worse places you could be to work. This is a pretty good job. The run is just 3 miles across, basically, and a lot of it is these workers that we carry working at that phosphate operation over there. They really depend on this ferry to get back and forth to work. Of course, there's tourists too, in the summertime particularly. There's a lot of tourists that come across here, making the connections to the other ferries. A lot of them like to come, make the circle around, ride to Cedar Island and the Cherry Branch, you know, make that circle come on all the way around.
I live over in Bath and I work over at PCS Phosphate in Aurora.
So you ride the ferry every day, and tell me about that and how important that is to your life and your work.
Okay, I ride the ferry most every day. The commute around from Bath is about an hour commute. The ferry ride's only a 25-minute ferry ride, and I'm only about 10, 12 minutes from my house. Fuel consumption, the way it is today, it's very positive for us to be able to ride the ferry, and with fuel prices, it saves us a lot of money.
This link in the North Carolina Ferry Service to connect NC Highway 306 across the Pamlico River began in 1966. The W. Stanford White can carry 40 vehicles and 300 passengers. She is 180 feet long. Over 400 employees work for the North Carolina Department of Transportation Ferry Division.
We're headed now to the ferry at Minnesota Beach.
As we have heard, Many of the daily passengers on the Pamlico River Ferry work at the phosphate mine in Aurora. Phosphorus is found in deposits containing ancient sea fossils. At one time, this area was under hundreds of feet of water. The first ferries in North Carolina began in the mid-1920s and were operated by private individuals. In the 1930s, the North Carolina Highway Commission began subsidizing these businesses to help keep toll costs down. In the late 40s and early 50s, the state purchased these ferry operations, and the North Carolina ferry system was born. The first official route of the North Carolina ferry system was from Roanoke Island to Mans Harbor, across the Croatan Sound back in 1947. There is no ferry service there today. 2 bridges now span the sound to connect the island to the mainland.
Next, we'll be getting on this ferry at Minnesota Beach, which will take us over to Cherry Branch. We understand many of the people that ride the ferry in the morning and in the afternoon work at the Cherry Point Marine Air Station.
The ferry at Minnesota Beach completes NC 306 service across the Neuse River. This route was established in 1973. Minnesota Beach is a town in Pamlico County. One of the interesting things about this ferry is that it can sail in either direction. Each of the ferries sport the logo from one of North Carolina's universities. I'm looking for ECU. The run across the Neuse River is about 3 miles and takes about 20 minutes. When we disembark on the other side of the river, we will be in Carteret County. The North Carolina Department of Transportation's Ferry Division has 7 regular routes and over 20 ferries. At best, we think we'll be able to ride 5 today.
Welcome to the beach. Be sure of yourself and know your swimming limits. Don't go out too far without your mommy and daddy. Do what floats your boat. Always use a float when you go in the ocean. Come out of your shell and talk to a lifeguard. They can help you. See life's beauty. Watch out for animals in the ocean. Don't get tied down. And watch for shore breaks. It can knock you down. Love the beach. Respect the ocean.
This isn't the everyday. This is an escape. An escape to somewhere wild. This is where roads end and adventures begin. Here, you put down the heaviness of life and dream, play, reflect, and spend time with the ones that matter most. Around every corner is a retreat where you can taste everything. fresh and local. This water paradise has preserved its past, and Southern charm lives on. Here, you can discover something rare, something unique, extraordinary, and wild. Find yourself again at visitcurrituck.com.
Let's go to Cedar Island.
Our compass says we're turning back to the northeast. Part of our trip is through the Croatan National Forest in Carteret County. The forest features coastal and inland swamp habitats. It is very popular with hunters and fishermen, and it's a great place for hiking, boating, and camping. Cedar Island is an unincorporated community that some believe has a connection to the lost colony from Roanoke Island. The ferry from Cedar Island crosses the southeastern edge of the Pamlico Sound to Ocracoke Island. Unlike the other ferries we've ridden so far today, you will need a reservation to ride the Cedar Island Ferry. You can make your reservations online or call 1-800-BUY-FERRY. That's 1-800-293-3779. This route was established in 1961 to provide a connection for NC-12 down the Outer Banks to the mainland and allow better travel across the Pamlico Sound. Now we're on the Pamlico. It's a big ferry and was built to handle the large and sometimes turbulent waters of the open sounds. It takes about 2.5 hours to make this crossing.
I want to introduce you to Captain Jackie Willis. We're on the motor vessel Pamlico, crossing the Pamlico Sound from Cedar Island over to Ocracoke. This is quite a trip.
Yes, sir. About 23 miles.
How long does it take?
2 hours, 10 minutes.
Tell us a little bit about the motor vessel. How many cars does she hold? How big is she? How much water does she draw?
Well, the boat's about 220 foot long, draws about 6 foot, and we can get somewhere around 48 to 52 cars, according to the size.
And she's full right now?
Yes, sir.
Do you stay full all year long?
Pretty much so.
And I guess this is not just an opportunity for them to travel from one place to another, but just this kind of a ride is a real experience for the passengers.
Yeah, a lot of people take the coast out here to see something different and to catch a ferry.
How many crew members on board?
We have 7 crew members aboard. We have a captain, a mate, 3 deckhands, chief engineer, and oiler.
Wow. And I see another ferry coming this way from Ocracoke, maybe 2 more headed back and forth, possibly Swan Quarter. So is there a point where you guys all cross out here?
Yes, we're about to meet the halfway point now, and that'll be meeting the other boat going to Cedar Island, and there's also another boat coming from Swan Quarter on the way to Ocracoke.
Chief engineer on the Pamlico, Gary Gillikin, told us the ferry is powered by 2 3508 diesel Caterpillar engines. There are also 2 generators in the engine room, and a 3rd emergency generator is located on top in case there is ever a power failure. The engine room also has a complete set of backup controls, identical to the controls in the bridge.
We're visiting with Terry Bird, and we're still on the ferry Pamlico as we're just about to arrive at Ocracoke. And Terry, what brings you out here?
Well, I grew up in North Carolina and left when I was 17 years old. Spent my career in other places, came back and retired in 2005, and just want to experience North Carolina. Never been to the Outer Banks, and that's what we're doing in our retirement, trying to experience things we haven't had time to do.
How do you like the ferry ride?
It's great. It's worth the ferry ride just to come down.
The ferry terminal on Ocracoke Island is on the banks of Silver Lake. Blackbeard the pirate found safe harbor in these same calm waters for his pirate ship, the Queen Anne's Revenge. Blackbeard met his demise near Ocracoke in 1718 during a battle in Teach's Hold.
Talking with Danny Styron. Danny, you're the operations manager for this part of the ferry service, which is on the south end of Ocracoke Island?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We have ferries going to Swanquarter and from Swanquarter daily, and we have ferries going to and from Cedar Island. So we're really working two different operations at the same time, and there were better than 75,000 vehicles went through our area last year, and they'll average about 4 people to a vehicle. And that doesn't include in the spring of the year. We have a lot of buses that transit North Carolina, school children coming to the coast, going up and down the beach. And we've had as high as 5 and 6 of them on a ferry at the time.
When you get off the ferry, look to your right. You'll see the lighthouse. The Ocracoke Island Lighthouse is the second oldest in North America and has been in operation since 1823. The bodies of the crew of the British vessel Bedfordshire, sunk by a German submarine, washed ashore on the island and are buried here. The corrals along the road are home to the wild ponies of Ocracoke, and the island's beaches are known as some of the most beautiful in the world. From the north end of Ocracoke Island, we'll catch the ferry across Hatteras Inlet.
Treasure memories in Corolla Outer Banks. Go to CorollaNC.com.
Around the corner from the Albemarle Sound, Edenton Bay provides a scenic backdrop to its namesake town. Once a port for North Carolina's first colonial capital, today the waters attract travelers looking for calm, not commerce. And Edenton welcomes boaters with free boat slips for 2 nights. Whether by sea or land, let our historic lighthouse guide you to a relaxing bay that's a world away. Find your Eden in Edenton, the South's prettiest small town.
PlayOBXGolf.com is your gateway to a great golf vacation on the Outer Banks of North Carolina. Stretched between the Sound and the Atlantic Ocean, the Outer Banks offers a one-of-a-kind coastal golf experience. 5 award-winning courses and well-appointed golf accommodations in a picturesque setting make the Outer Banks the perfect choice for your next golf getaway. And fall is the perfect time to experience the best weather and the best course conditions of the year. Your golf trip to North Carolina's Outer Banks is just a click away at PlayOBXGolf.com.
Oh, Santa here. Do you know that the Christmas Shop and General Store has the largest display of Christmas gifts and ornaments in the Outer Banks? nutcrackers, collectible Santas, snowing Christmas trees, personalized ornaments, and so much more. A room full of gifts that remind you of your pets, a nativity display that'll blow you away. It's surely a destination that brings joy to so many. We can't wait to see you at the Christmas Shop and General Store.
Capacity to explore a passion while learning from the greatest to ever do it. Reliability to make those who are far away feel like they never left. Speeds for fueling moments of discovery while sparking curiosity. It's not just internet, it's a gateway to opportunities you never even knew existed. Ripple Fiber, multiplying potential for you, your family, and the community.
This is the busiest route in the ferry service, with nearly 1 million passengers using this crossing each year.
We're on ferry number 4. We've got one more to go. We're crossing over from Ocracoke to Hatteras Island on the motor vessel Frisco. I'm in the passenger lounge. Most everybody on a beautiful day like this will set out in their car or hang over the rail during the trip. But all of the ferries are equipped with a place like this where you can come and sit, get in the air conditioning, get a drink of water, and just enjoy the trip from inside. You move a lot of people, don't you, through the course of the year. Have you any idea how many folks use the North Carolina ferry system in a year?
Yes, sir. System-wide, we carry over 2.5 million people, and proudly with very, very few complaints. We go to great lengths to make sure that, number one, that all of our customers, which is the traveling public, have a safe and pleasurable voyage. A vessel running 365 days a year, you always are going to have breakdowns, and we have field mechanics that get the ferries back online, and we have to shift them around to make sure that we have on-time departures so that the traveling public is not inconvenienced.
The ferry terminal on Hatteras Island is located adjacent to the U.S. Coast Guard Station in the village of Hatteras on the south end of the island. Look at all the people waiting with great expectation for their turn to ride the ferry. With the famous lighthouse, great beaches, and tidal marshes teeming with wildlife, the trip north up Hatteras Island is spectacular. After you cross the bridge over Organ Inlet, you'll come to the Body Island Lighthouse. A little further up the road, you'll see the Wright Brothers National Memorial. A little further north, you'll leave Dare County when you cross the Wright Brothers Memorial Bridge into Currituck County. We're starting to run out of daylight, and this will be the last ferry we ride today. This ferry will take us across the Sound to Knott's Island. This route was created in 1962 to shorten the travel time for the kids that live on the island to get back and forth from home to school each day. It's about a 45-minute ride. Knott's Island is bordered by the Currituck Sound, North Landing River, Back Bay, and Knott's Island Bay. It's a great area for hunting and fishing, or just spending some leisure time. And the ferry ride is a good time to feed some hungry seagulls. The ferry we're riding across the Currituck Sound today is the Chickamaucomico. The Chickamaucomico can carry 30 cars and 149 passengers and is 150 feet long.
Well, we finally made it. What a day. 5 ferries in one day, and here we are on Knott's Island, North Carolina.
A very special thank you to all the people with the North Carolina Department of Transportation Ferry Division that have helped make this program possible. They work hard every day, keeping the ferries up and running. They're dedicated and committed to their job, and we should be proud of each and every one of them. I'm Ken Mann. I hope you've enjoyed our program, and I hope you'll get the chance to ride one of North Carolina's ferries sometime soon. Thank you so much for watching, and may God bless you richly.
Sunny seaside, Carolina home.
Welcome to Jeanette's Pier, the family fishing spot on the Outer Banks. Make memories for a lifetime while reeling in the catch of the day. From bottom fishing for spot and croaker to jigging for bluefish and Spanish mackerel, experience the thrill of catching a fish from this 1,000-foot-long concrete ocean fishing pier located at milepost 16.5 in Nags Head. Have fun in the sun while fishing with your friends and family. Surf, sun, fish, and fun. Experience it all at Jeanette's Pier, where fishing is catching.
Out of the darkness, it still stands, guiding mariners on their way, a beacon of light for all to see. Find your light at visitcurrituck.com.
That's a good one. Oh yeah, really good one.
This is what we came out here for.
Sheep's head
Dang,
ceviche.
babe.
What's happening, everybody?
What's going on, guys?
You guys, Christy and I, we have an amazing video coming at y'all.
And today's video, you guys, is gonna be featuring Sheep's Head in the Outer Banks, and this video is gonna be brought to you by our official tourism partners, the Outer Banks Visitors Bureau.
Go to outerbanks.org and you guys can totally look at all the cool stuff the Outer Banks offers. And we're actually partnering up. This video is sponsored by Outer Banks Visitors Bureau. And you guys check them out. And if y'all ever want to plan a trip to the Outer Banks, hit us up, ask us for some suggestions, but check out their website. We'll leave a link in the description below.
outerbanks.org, y'all.
All right, people, so let's go ahead. Let's roll this footage and show y'all this amazing day we had sheep's head fishing in the Outer Banks. What's happening, everybody? Today, Christy and I.
What up, y'all? We're here in the Outer Banks, just launched from Oregon Inlet, and we've got Jeff's good buddy and biz partner.
Boom. Owen. So, Owen, when's the last time that you went fishing?
Been years.
Years?
Years, as they say.
When's the last time you drove a boat?
Years.
What was the last fish you caught?
Last fish I caught was a little baby croak out of the, let's see, it was about this big, and that was probably 2015.
Oh my gosh.
To say the least.
You live in the Outer Banks and it's been way too long. I kind of have a tradition also, Owen. People who are new on my boat, you get to, you're driving the beach.
driving the boat today.
Driving.
Okay.
So yeah, today, like Christy was saying, it's all about the sheep's head. Sheep head is the right way to say it. Sheep's head. However, whatever it is, we're catching the fish with black stripes. They have teeth and they like crustaceans. And they also like to hang out around bridge pilings. Yeah. Oh my gosh, look at all that fish right there. That right there is what people say when they look at their depth finder, and maybe they don't know what exactly they're looking at. But this is what we're looking for. So we got about 25 feet of depth, 68-degree water temp. This right here is probably just a bunch of crap that's on the bottom in terms of like structure. And look, this is what we're looking for. All those pilings, everything like that. So this current is ripping right now. Got a nice little eddy going on right here. So what we're gonna do is we are gonna hop up right here. All right. Let's hope the dolphin dancer doesn't go floating away.
I'm not gonna lie, I got excited.
I know, right? There we go. Oh, there's sheep's head right here. Oh my, dang it.
I like that bit.
There we go. Oh my gosh. There we go. Fish on. That's a sheep's head.
Ooh.
Yeah.
You're just smashing with your fish.
Target species.
Ooh, that's a nice one. All right, y'all, we're on a little bridge action. Sheepshead fishing. Oh,
Nice
yeah.
one. Flip him onto.
Yeah, people. All right, y'all. This is our target species, getting on some sheephead.
On the sand, please.
Woo woo.
Nice job.
All right, guys, can only go out from here, but these little guys are perfect for eating and super pretty fish.
Love these fish.
Yep.
Hooked up? Yeah, you are.
Woo woo.
Here. Nice.
Nice.
You reeled them all the way up to the tip.
Way too far. Dang, I ain't been fishing in years, looks like.
Yeah.
All good. We got them. That's awesome. Your first sheep's head? Have you caught one? Your first one?
First one. Not
Cool,
bad.
man. That's the hardest fish to catch. All right, so let me show you all this rig that we're using today. So this right here is just a standard dropper rig right here. So we have our weight at the bottom. We got about a foot up from that. We actually have a tutorial on how to tie these. It's pretty much a high-low rig or a bottom rig without the high rig, just one part of it. So it's called a dropper rig. We use these for tog fishing, and these work perfect for bridge fishing. Using, right now the current's kind of slacked out, so we're just using 1 ounce weights. We'll probably switch to like a 3/8 ounce weight even, just to go with the lightest that we can, because these sheep's head have such subtle bites. So these make the perfect bait right here for sheep's head. In the perfect world, if we had fiddler crabs or like quarter chunks of blue crab, that would be awesome. Just dropping it, counting back from like 5 seconds. And I don't know, the sheep's head, typically sea bass are gonna be at the very bottom. So if you're catching a lot of sea bass, then maybe come up a few cranks. Okay. Nice.
All right, y'all, time to go piling hopping. That's what we like to do. If you guys are hopping on some pilings, not getting bites right away, it's usually a good sign to switch it up a little bit.
Well, we've been getting bites.
But we have been getting.
We're going for the big one.
Yes, we have been getting bites, been getting on this piling, but I figured that we'd switch it up, see if that there's bigger quality, more quality fish on some other ones. All right, guys, all moored up. We got all of our tackle, and we're gonna hit piling number 2, see if we can pull off some bigger sheep's head. Dang, he bit me off. That was big.
Wow, I just got whacked.
That was huge.
There we go. That's a good one. That's a good one. Oh yeah, really good one.
That's hard.
That's a really good one, people.
That is my
Really good one. We're gonna net this guy from the boat. Here. Ooh, it's a good one. Sweet. All right, people. That right there was a blast on light action. Christy was a little upset because you had one. Babe, there's probably like 40 of them right there.
No.
Anyways, you guys, that is such a blast on light action. Oh man. There it is. Nice size, sheep's head. Oh yes. One, two. There's one. That's a good one. Oh my word. Oh my word. That's a good one. Really good one. Come here.
Oh yeah. Yep. Oh my word. Y'all. These we're all on. Yeah. That's what we're talking about. Tripled up. Oh yeah.
Nice job, dude. Oh, that's a good one.
Yes,
flip him up. Good job. Nice catch, dude. All right, let the bail open. Nice job, dude. That is a nice one. All right, so when y'all are sheepshead fishing, what we're doing is we are right up on this structure. That's what y'all want to do. This works out perfect for us to be standing on the structure. These sheepshead, what they're doing is they are literally swimming like up and down the pilings and literally like right on the pilings too. So all we're doing is we're starting at the bottom, and then you want to use your rod. Like, so what we're doing is we're pointing our rod tip down, and then when we feel that bite, that subtle bite, you just come tight, just like that. You just kind of set the hook like that. You do need to set the hook on sheepshead. That's all you really want to do when you're sheepshead fishing, is you're pretty much, oh, there's bites. There we go.
Oh, dang.
There we go.
Jeff is on.
Fish on.
So, like we were talking about, y'all.
Dang. Oh, look at that.
That's a good one, babe.
Okay, that's a really good one. We might need to get the net. Let's get the net.
Where's the net?
That's a good one. That's a really good one. Really? Yeah. Can you get in the boat? You ready? Really good one. You got it?
Yeah.
Ready? Nice.
Wow, big one.
That's the one that we want.
A really nice bite. This is our biggest one of the day.
Yeah.
This is what we came out here for.
This guy's making me actually look like I kind of know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, we've been getting into a lot of different classes today, really small ones. This piling held some bigger ones, and then this bad boy right here we just pulled in.
This guy straight up bent my hook. We usually like to use like thicker hooks. That's a quality sheephead right
Get
there.
you some, babe.
That's awesome. I was saying, you guys, y'all want to work your bait like in the different like 5-foot increments. So start at the bottom and then just use your rod to like come from pointing your rod tip down to pointing your rod tip up. That's about 5 feet. That's all you're doing. That is awesome. Okay, this guy's going in the cooler.
Nice.
All right, people, that right there is a wrap.
Okay.
Whoa, crazy waves. Wind is definitely picking up, and we got ourselves a cooler full of these beautiful sheepshead. Dude, that was awesome, man.
That was awesome.
That was so cool.
Thank you guys so much.
I'm so glad that we got Owen out there. Christy, don't go floating away.
Full of sheephead. What's this? Piling hopping the Outer Banks. Y'all need to get out here, get yourself on a big old sheephead. Day is done, y'all.
That was the first time that you went fishing in like how long?
Like at least 5 years.
5 years.
Yep.
5 years. That's the last time Owen has been fishing, and you caught one of the hardest fish in the ocean to catch today. But we got to get out of here because it's getting crazy.
in a world of ordinary vacations. Live the extraordinary. Book the real Outer Banks.
Treasure memories in Corolla Outer Banks. Go to CorollaNC.com.
Here we are back in the kitchen. Today, I am going to make some ceviche with our sheep's head right here. So, people, that was an amazing day sheep's head fishing, and oh, that was awesome. We got a whole cooler full of these sheep's head, so I'm actually gonna try out and experiment some different recipes, but I wanted to show y'all some amazing sheep's head ceviche. That's a very easy recipe, super easy, and all you're gonna do is be cooking your fish with these limes right here. So anyways, let's get right to it. Like, amazing ceviche. Perfect size. Look at those teeth. So these fish, they will like swim up pilings like this, and that's when they take your bait. You know, they'll sometimes take it going down, but that's all they're doing is they're just like circling around pilings. All right, so this is our first cut. Then all we're gonna do, turn the fish around. So all we're doing is just working our knife right down the fillet. From here, we're just gonna just work our blade down the fillet. And all right, here's a little pro tip that I pretty much do in all my videos. So all you're gonna do is just take your knife, cut a hole, and then you can stick your finger through it just like this. Yeah, so this hole right here in the back of the fillet just helps you to like pull it off of the, should just come out pretty clean just like that. All right, here we go. All right, y'all, so this right here, amazing quality of meat right here, this sheep's head. And if I really wanted to, I could do some sushi out of it, but I'm gonna stick to the plan and make some ceviche. So all I'm gonna do right now is we're just going to cut it up into some kind of like small bite-sized pieces. About that big right there. So that's all we're doing. Just some little pieces like this makes for perfect ceviche. And then we're just gonna put it in this little container. You can put it in a bowl. Okay, so here it is, people. So this right here, this is our sheep's head ceviche. So all we're gonna do, take some limes. I've already got these diced up. I think I used like 4 or 5 limes, but all we're gonna do, I don't know how many I need. We just want enough lime juice so that the fish is like fully submerged in the lime juice, because that's ceviche, that's how the fish cooks, is the acid in the lime juice. I would just like to say that if there was some sort of like game show that I was on today for like, I don't know, having the perfect amount of limes that you have to buy to appropriately submerge my fish fillets, I would have won. And that's like the first time that's ever happened to me when I go grocery shopping, because usually I'll buy like way too much or not enough. I've got all my limes that I just got a nice wrist workout, just squeezing all these limes right here. And I'm gonna put a top on this. You could just put these in a bowl, do whatever, and then, you know, you just put some like saran wrap on top. So we've got the fish fillets fully submerged in the lime juice. I'm gonna go ahead, stick this in the refrigerator for about 30 minutes. And I don't know, I guess I gotta try and figure out something to do for 30 minutes. Maybe, I don't know, maybe I'll clean the kitchen and, oh, I know. Actually, you guys, check this out. So, Kirsty, my wife, you know, One Fish, Two Fish. It's Kirsty and I, we do this YouTube channel. Kirsty's out right now with her friends. All right, so I don't show y'all this to like brag or anything, but I don't know, to all y'all dudes out there, get your wife some flowers. So actually, this is what I'm gonna do for the next 30 minutes. So I'm gonna surprise Kirsty. I'm gonna clean the kitchen, because I'm gonna be honest, I don't do the best job with that, and come home and there's like fish scales and crap like that on the kitchen floor. So that's how I'm gonna spend 30 minutes. But to all the men out there who got your lady out there, get her some flowers. Guarantee you. And if you ask, you can tell her that One Fish, Two Fish told you. So you guys do that, get your lady some flowers. And yeah, so I gotta find 30 minutes to kill, and that's what I'm gonna do. I think I'm gonna clean the kitchen, and Kirsty's gonna come home. She's gonna see flowers and a clean kitchen, and everything is just going to be amazing, because I'm gonna have my ceviche, gonna have some football, and gonna have some happy wife action going on. You guys, that's what it's all about. So 30 minutes, not too bad. Got the ceviche in the refrigerator. I'll check you guys. Meantime, I'm gonna clean up the kitchen, get everything situated, show y'all how easy it is to make this sheep's head ceviche taste amazing. Woo! That right there, people, that's how, oh man, I feel really good about that. Past 30 minutes, clean kitchen. Kirsty is gonna love it. Look at this. Everything super clean. It smells lemony fresh. But check this out. To top this off, oh yeah, this is what we're gonna do. To Kirsty, a clean kitchen for my super hot, double underline, wife. Period. Love, Jeff. She just got home. She's just got home. Christy?
Hi.
Look what I did.
What'd you do?
Seriously?
Oh, you cleaned the whole kitchen.
I know.
It looks so good.
Doesn't it?
Are you getting me on video?
Maybe.
Babe, this is so sweet. Is this for me for lunch?
No, that's my ceviche.
Oh.
But you can have some of it. What's
I
that?
got really excited. I was like, you made me tacos?
Well, you can have some of my
That's what I
ceviche.
thought this was all about, the tacos. You put it on top of the tortillas. And I saw chips. You don't even need chips.
Well, it's for the ceviche.
This looks so great.
Doesn't it? I know.
I've never seen it so clean.
Uh-huh.
Thank you. My hot husband. Y'all, ladies, get yourself a man who can clean up a kitchen.
That's right. 30 minutes later, that plan was executed to perfection. So here it is. This is our fish. As you can see, it's a little bit more white. It's only been in here for 30 minutes because I am super starving. So this is the ceviche. Okay, here it is. So we have diced cucumbers, diced tomatoes, onions, and avocado. So this is so easy. All we're gonna do is put our mix-ins right here in this bowl. So cucumbers, tomatoes, put some onions in there. Let's do some avocado. Love ceviche, super tasty and very healthy as well. So, all right, avocado solid base. All right. Then put the fish. Oh my God. Put some salt in here. A little bit of pepper. That's it, people. There it is. That is ultimate sheep's head ceviche.
Dang, babe. That smells amazing.
So, all right, if you want to add a little bit of variety to it, here's another thing that you can do. Add some salsa to it. Y'all, this is like amazing. So check this out.
Ooh.
Put some salsa in here. Take some chips. Oh my gosh, I'm so starving, and I know this is gonna taste amazing. Okay, here we go. Make sure we get some fish up in there.
Tostito ceviche.
That's right. There it is. Ceviche, baby.
That good, huh?
So good. So good. So,
Here.
that's what you can do to add a little pizzazz to it. Christy and I are actually in the process of moving. So, what I would normally do is you can take like a wine glass or take like, I don't know, something that looks nice. Put this in that. And that is amazing. But here it is, people. This is the sheep's head.
Is that dank?
Ceviche. It's dope. So this is the without the salsa. But as you can see, the fish has been cooked in the lime juice, nice and white, and just the acid has cooked it. And you guys, it's so good. Ceviche tacos. Are you kidding me? So you can do chips, or you can just do tacos, or you can just eat it.
Martine to eat lunch.
That's so good.
All right, people. Thanks for watching. Go ahead, give us a little subscribe and hit that notification bell and thumbs up. And hopefully you guys enjoyed our little catch and cook video for you guys. A little Outer Banks action. Just got in from a beach walk with some girlfriends and came into my amazing husband cleaning my kitchen, making lunch. What can get any better than that?
That's right. And we got football. Come on.
Heck to the yeah. All right,
awesome.
people. Get up off your butt. Go catch some fish.
Peace out.
Peace out.
Just across the Wright Memorial Bridge on the Currituck mainland, you'll find one-of-a-kind shopping, dining, and recreational experiences await you. Don't let memories you'll treasure pass you by on the road to the Outer Banks. Find your treasure at visitcurrituck.com.
Every place has a story. Stories of romance, drama, adventure, stories of life. Find your story at visitcurrituck.com.
Surrounded by water, Currituck and the people of the Outer Banks have been shaped and defined by its rich coastal and maritime history. Here in Corolla, on the edge of the Atlantic, where roads give way to endless water, legendary local craftsmen designed and built these boats and taught generations of Northeast North Carolinians how to take to the sea and sound to find prosperity. From duck hunting, to fishing, to guiding, to saving lives off the coast, these hardy people both endured and celebrated life on the water. The Currituck Maritime Museum tells the stories of Currituck's boat-building forefathers, their remarkable craft, and the enduring legacy they left behind on how to live life and thrive on the waters here. Discover the newest addition to historic Corolla Park. Find yourself here. Visit CurrituckMaritimeMuseum.com.
My name is Quentin Turco and I live in Kitty Hawk, North Carolina. And I do everything from surfing to fishing to spearfishing to paddleboarding. I mean, pretty much anything that involves the ocean. The power of the ocean deserves everyone's respect. The force of shorebreak waves can catch unsuspecting swimmers off guard, driving them into the sand, causing neck and back injuries, and in some cases, even drowning. Such incidents can easily be prevented with a few local tips. Know before you go and check local beach forecasts before you head out. Always swim near a lifeguard. Always be mindful of incoming waves even when near the water's edge. When in the water, play the over-under game. Little waves we go over, larger waves we go under. Live like a local, love the beach, respect the ocean.
Here at the beach, obviously, you will get a lot of UV rays. It's important to protect yourself from those, not only from direct sun contact, so having shade, umbrellas will block direct sun contact, but then you get a lot of UV rays bouncing off the water and the sand. So it's important to use protective sunscreen, anything stronger than SPF 30, and then zinc sunscreen is good waterproof sunscreen. Follow the instructions on the sunscreen. Certain ones are more water resistant, others wash off pretty quickly. But generally, especially if you have fair skin, reapply about every hour. It's real important, kind of take breaks. If you're planning to be at the beach all day long, you know, go inside for lunch, get an AC, get out of the sun, get some water, some food in you. Just take a break from the heat.
Treasure memories in Corolla Outer Banks. Go to CorollaNC.com.
Everybody's surfing our peak.
Yo, what's up? Should be able to get some good waves. It was supposed to be, 3 to 4 feet, 4 or 5 feet maybe. It was not meant to be this big.
Surf looks like it looks fun.
Oh my God! What?
Oh.
The right and the left.
Wow.
Well, I'm ready to change. Yep.
That one was sick. Yeah, Siren. Whoa! Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh, yeah, it's doing a really good wave.
That was fun.
See you guys. Later, Brad. Have a good one.
See ya.
Sick session.
Despite what you've heard, 911 cannot locate you immediately when calling from a cell phone. Do you know the street address of your location in the event of an emergency? When you call 911, we don't either, unless you can tell us.
Chickamaucomico Life Saving Station was first built in 1874, and it was a way to help people who were distressed in the shipping lanes. Back then, that was the highway, and everything was done by the sea.
We live up to our nickname, the Graveyard of the Atlantic. There was a long history of shipwrecks that resulted in a need of, yes, we need to get stations out there.
The mission of the Life Saving Service was to save people from a land-based operation. This is the place where Chickamaucomico Life Saving Station was. It's where the rescues were performed. It's where the men lived. It pretty much was the beginning of a professional life-saving service in the United States.
So this is the 1874 building. This is the first of the 7 original life-saving stations built on the coast of North Carolina. So this one is very special. It was replaced in 1911 by our 1911 station, which is much larger, had room for more of the surfmen to not so much be in a large bunk room, but maybe just have a couple of guys in each room.
On site, there are 2 cookhouses, 1 per station. They use the cookhouses for various reasons. Obviously, cooking kept fire away from a wooden building. It provided warmth from the fire, so they used them also as shower houses.
And then we have a house that was donated to us in 2006 by the Midget family, and it was the home of Captain Cornelius Midget, the older brother of our own Captain John Allen Midget Jr., and that little house we call the Midget House.
We are the only station in the U.S. Life Saving Service history that is a complete site. In no other place in America can you go to and see the accurate history that you see here.
In particular, the reenactment, we do it to the T. We do everything as if we are training as they did 150 years ago.
And what you see here at Chickamaucomico is not a reenactment of a rescue. It is a reenactment of the training that they did to prepare themselves for a rescue. That's why it's called the beach apparatus drill. But just like they did, we do it on Thursday afternoons at 2 o'clock. Most of our displays are on loan from families or from other organizations, most from families who have gotten granddad's medal or uniform or whatever the case may be.
We have artifacts from shipwrecks. We have some documents, we have photographs, we have equipment that was used in the past, and we have the buildings. This is a museum of place. This is where it happened. You can walk out on the beach and know that you're walking in the footsteps of people who rescued people that they never saw before and would never see again.
The most famous rescue out of this station was in 1918. The British tanker Merlot was torpedoed about 5 miles offshore here. Captain John Allen Midget and the surfmen from Chickamaucomico took this boat that you see behind me, surf boat number 1046.
They rowed out to that ship, which was carrying a load of kerosene at the time, so the sea was on fire when Captain John Allen and his crew managed to rescue 42 of the 51 British sailors on board the Merlot. It still remains today one of the most decorated maritime rescues in American history. The Chickamauga Historical Association is comprised of a board of directors. We have 2 employees.
Our mission is to tell the story of the men who served here and to preserve the buildings that they served in.
This is the 150th anniversary of the introduction of professional life-saving to the coast of North Carolina.
We're planning to have guided tours of the Kennekeet Station. We're going to have this station open for tours. We're going to have a search and rescue demonstration from the Coast Guard, which is, of course, we're their foundation. So lots of different things going on throughout that weekend.
It is a place that the whole family can enjoy. We do have family discount. We're open basically from around mid to late March, right on through Thanksgiving. And our hours of operation are from 9 o'clock in the morning until 5 o'clock in the afternoon.
As a nonprofit organization, we do rely a lot of the funds and the resources through donations. Sponsorships, you can actually sign up to become a monthly sponsor or a yearly sponsor.
We're always looking for folks who want to volunteer from very little to a whole lot. There's always a spot to fill. Go to chickamauga.org. Our website is right there with all the contact information. They can call the station. We check our machines regularly.
So anything you can do, we can put you to work.
These heroes, we call them the forgotten heroes because they just kind of fell by the wayside. The history, the way that they put their lives on the line to save their fellow man, it's just too important to let it go away.
Whether you're here for a week or one long weekend, explore nature surrounded by the ocean and beside the ones you love. Welcome to the Currituck Outer Banks.
Oh, Santa here again for the Christmas shop and general store. You know, the general store has long been a favorite destination within our shop. You'll find favorites like candies and fudge, Heights chocolates, and ready-made Bavarian nuts. Plus, we offer a wide selection of made in North Carolina items, old-time candy, sodas, and more. And our wine section has an even larger selection than last year. With more wine tasting opportunities, it's all part of the experience at the Christmas shop and general store.
My name is Rick Romano. I'm an artist on the Currituck Outer Banks. A lot of people consider me a surf artist. You know, I'm a beach artist, anything to do with the ocean. You know, I love drawing waves and painting waves, and not so much surfers, but just surfing scenes. Beaches on the Outer Banks, you know, big giant waves breaking against the pier. You know, things like that inspire me. Anything that has to do with the ocean, it just inspires me to paint. My studio today is located in Corova Beach, North Carolina, and I have a shop here in my backyard, a showroom and studio, and I work right out of my yard here. Sometimes I go on location, but mostly I'm painting on pieces of driftwood that I find on the beach. I just kind of want to do originals, small originals on driftwood. You know, pieces of repurposed wood. That's what I really enjoy doing. I like creating the substrates to paint on out of repurposed materials. I did the art show circuit in Virginia Beach for many years and had a gallery, a warehouse there. I did all my custom framing. And I just kind of wanted to come to a quieter place, and I just fell in love with Corova Beach back when I was in high school. And I bought my house 15 years ago and relocated down here 5 years ago, and I've never looked back. The beach scenes for me are just, that's where I grew up. I grew up on the ocean. I've been surfing since I was 10 years old, and just something about anything having to do with the ocean just inspires me. You know, the waves, the color of the ocean, and when I'm in it surfing, it kind of creates a balance in my life that I need. I'm so inspired here because it's just full of life.
Just across the Wright Memorial Bridge on the Currituck mainland, you'll find one-of-a-kind shopping, dining, and recreational experiences await you. Don't let memories you'll treasure pass you by on the road to the Outer Banks. Find your treasure at visitcurrituck.com.
Hi, this is Joey the Wine Guy, located in the general store of the Christmas Shop at General Store, located in Manteo, North Carolina, right here on historic Roanoke Island. Join me daily from 11 to 5 for free wine tastings here at the General Store, where you can try it before you buy it. Be sure and try our featured German Christmas wine, just the thing to get you in the Christmas spirit all year long. And don't forget to ask me about special pricing on 6 and 12 bottle cases. Whether you're looking for a Chardonnay, a Cabernet, or your favorite Merlot, we've got it here at the Christmas Shop at General Store.
Connected to mainland North Carolina, yet seemingly a world away, Edenton is known as the prettiest small town in the South. Time passes slowly in the state's first colonial capital. The lure of historic sites, outdoor adventure, and friendly people draws visitors from near and far, whether by car or boat. Let our lighthouse be your beacon to a relaxing getaway on the Albemarle Sound. Find your Eden in Edenton, North Carolina, the South's prettiest small town.
We have a basic human need to feel connected to nature, to the idea of something bigger, to one another. The Outer Banks of North Carolina, a chain of barrier islands shaped by wind and water, connected by the elements, just open spaces and endless possibilities.
With over 67 miles of ocean views, beaches provide an amazing haven for wildlife, as well as a place for us to adventure. We all share this beautiful space. Help us protect the beach by following these safety tips while exploring in your vehicle. Remember, before you can drive on the beach, you are required to have an off-road vehicle permit. To learn more and obtain a permit, please visit our website at go.nps.gov/OBX beach driving. Vehicles equipped with high clearance and four-wheel drive are best suited for off-road driving. Be sure to have all required equipment as noted on your ORV permit. In the event you get stuck, this equipment will assist in getting yourself free. Airing down your tires provides more surface area on the sand, giving your vehicle more traction. Using an air gauge, deflate your tires to 15 to 20 psi. Overinflated tires are very hard on your vehicle and will cause you to bounce and get stuck. Tires that have been aired down handle better in deep sand and make the ride smoother. Obey speed limits and stick to packed routes where possible. Use common courtesy when passing other drivers. Pick your route in advance and know your planned exit. Pay attention to the tides by checking for local tide information each day. At high tide, many areas are reduced to one lane or become entirely impassable. Be aware of your location and be sure you can safely exit the beach as tides and conditions change throughout the day. Every year, millions of people visit our beaches and enjoy the sand, surf, and sun. Remember, use caution when driving on the beach near pedestrians by lowering your speed to 5 miles an hour. Watch for children dashing out from between parked vehicles. Pedestrians always have the right of way. The beaches provide an ideal habitat for birds and turtles to build their nests and hatch their young. Park staff actively monitor breeding activity, nests, and foraging grounds and mark them with signs to alert beachgoers of these critical resource protection areas. Stay well clear of these areas to protect the next generation of birds and turtles. Turtle nesting in this area occurs primarily at night, which is why we regulate beach driving seasonally. Even so, turtles may come ashore at any time of day and can be hard to see. Be watchful while driving the beach and report any adult or turtle hatchling activity on the Turtle Hotline at 252-216-6892. In some circumstances, an ORV corridor may be installed to drive around a resource protection area. Follow the guidance on posted signage to help us protect birds and turtles. As you drive, keep in mind that as chicks hatch, they stay in the area for many weeks before fledging. Watch for birds. Their colors often blend in with sand and beach debris, and they may be hard to see. Thank you for helping us protect these beautiful beaches so that we can all enjoy them for years to come.
I'm Bree Voivich. I am a surfer, a surf instructor, and a lifeguard here in Kill Devil Hills. The power of the ocean deserves everyone's respect. Even on tranquil days, hard to see, powerful rip currents are present up and down the coast. Every year, unsuspected swimmers find themselves in the grip of the rip. Many lose their lives. Such tragic events can be easily prevented with a few local tips. Know before you go and check the local beach forecast before heading out. Always swim near a lifeguard. And if you find yourself caught in a rip current, don't panic, float, wave, and shout until help can arrive. If you're a good swimmer, don't fight the rip. Swim parallel to the beach to break free of the current's hold. Live like a local, love the beach, respect the ocean.
Nothing beats a day at the beach, but the power of the ocean deserves everyone's respect. So if you plan on going for a swim when the surf is rough,
why risk it? When in doubt, just stay out.
But if you do decide to take a dip,
warning flags are flying for a reason. Listen to the lifeguards. Stay out.
Hey ladies, if you're an experienced swimmer and think you can safely handle the surf,
even the most experienced swimmers can get caught in a rip current and swept out to sea. Stay on the shoreline.
if the waves are rough, be sure to take a flotation device, such as a raft or a bodyboard.
Rafts and boards aren't designed to save your life. If the surf is rough, just play it safe and stay out.
Well, there you have it. Make sure your Outer Banks vacation is a memorable one for all the right reasons.
Know before you go by checking the daily OBX beach conditions forecasts. Watch for rip current warnings and listen to the lifeguard. When the red flags are flying, stay safe by staying on the beach and out of the water.
Live like a local and love the beach, respect the ocean.
Out of the darkness, it still stands, guiding mariners on their way, a beacon of light for all to see. Find your light at visitcurrituck.com.
This was a watery I-95 out here. If you were in trade and commerce and you were moving cargo from, say, Baltimore or Philadelphia or New York, it needed to go to Savannah. It had to go by boat, and there were many, many vessels transiting these waters. There was, over a period of decades, something like, on average, one wreck a week. of sailing vessels primarily. So what I would like to do this evening is to share with you things that I've learned about the Paul Gambles Hill U.S. Life-Saving Station that used to be here in Southern Shores.
Bob Moyer is a Southern Shores resident who became interested in the U.S. Life-Saving Service after seeing an abandoned station near the Currituck Beach Lighthouse. He has extensively researched the Life-Saving Service since then, especially the Paul Gambles Hill Station, and recently gave a presentation during a Southern Shores Civic Association meeting to suggest the placement of a plaque to dedicate the former location of the station.
I live at 5/8th Avenue, Southern Shores, and it's 1 block from Hillcrest Beach, south of it. And come to find out, during the height of the life-saving service time, which ran roughly from the mid-1870s up to 1915, there were 29 life-saving stations built on the Outer Banks in North Carolina. The more I've read about it, I learned that there were approximately 5 to 6 miles between stations. So at one point I'm scratching my head, and I thought, well, if you go 5 miles south from Caffey's Inlet Station, which is up where Sanderling Hotel is now, 5 or so miles, you're right into Southern Shores. Now, where is this? Where was the old life-saving station? Had to be one here. And I did finally find an old Army map from 1943 that showed the Paul Gambles Hills Station right smack dab in the middle of Southern Shores. Come to find out, that station was, when it was in existence, it wasn't there now, obviously, but it was right smack dab at the public beach, Hillcrest. I had a sense that from an old National Geographic map that I had that there were wrecks right off of here. So I wanted to tie in the wreck and the time with the experience of the crew of Paul Gambles Hill Station, and found that if I contacted in the National Archives in Atlanta, there was papers from the original station records, handwritten in form, that I got them to copy and send me for the dates when the wrecks occurred. There were 7 named wrecks during this time, 1883 to 1932. From these named wrecks, there were 50 mariners that were cared for, aided, or brought ashore physically by the crew of this station, including on one wreck, they had a couple of tamed bears that the crew went out. The crew of the wreck, they just waded ashore because the wreck came up so high, but there were 2 tamed bears in the captain's cabin, and so the crew of Paul Gambles Hill here went out and brought the bears in. I don't know exactly how that came to pass, but it was an interesting part of the report. I just think these life-saving station crews, later Coast Guard crews, should all be applauded a bit for, in some cases a lot, for all that they were able to do in terms of safeguarding the welfare of mariners, and I think we should all have our hats off to them.
Every place has a story. Stories of romance, drama, adventure, stories of life. Find your story at visitcurrituck.com.
Do we mark time by what comes before and after? Or is it this moment and what we do with it that truly matters? The Outer Banks of North Carolina starts every day with an open invitation to explore, to pursue unknown outcomes, and challenge curiosities, to stir the soul with open spaces and endless possibilities.
Yo, what's up?
There's more to the story at rawobx.com.
Tide's starting to come in now. Yeah, that wind's picked up. See how it opens up over here? Uh-huh. I like fishing where there's some white water.
Ben, what's up, guys? It looks like you found a good spot for us. Thank you.
I like this washing machine look that we've got there.
Let's go.
Yeah. That's not what I came here for. Where'd all these trash fish come from? I see mullet.
How many fish did you get?
3.
You got 3 fish?
2 speckled trout, 1 bluefish.
Trout, flounder, bluefish, stingray.
That smells good.
Sometimes when you're passing through a town or village, you might not realize how much fascinating history is all around you. This is especially true on Hatteras Island. The fragile Outer Banks Island has been inhabited for hundreds of years, beginning with the Native Americans. If you stop and visit with the local people, you can often hear stories and legends that have been passed down for generations. Today, we'll spend some time on a tour with a couple of the local Hatteras Island storytellers on this edition of My Heart Will Always Be in Carolina.
Although
treasure memories in Kerala Outer Banks. Go to KeralaNC.com.
Every community has its stories, its history, its legends, and certainly Hatteras Island is no different. If you want to hear those stories, you need to spend some time with some of the local folks, and that's what we're doing today with Dwight Burris and Danny Couch. They both have tour operations. Dwight, tell us about yours.
Well, our south trip, we take off in this airplane here and go down around Portsmouth and the abandoned village of Oak Creek Oak, and then our Cape trip around the Cape Hatteras Lighthouse, or our north trip goes up around the north end of the island and back around the Diamond Shoals.
And Danny, you take folks around the island on a bus.
Ken, yes I do. Here on the bus we explore some of the stories that the old timers have left with us, look at some of the sites, talk about some of our geologic processes, and there's a lot more to do here than just going to the beach.
And today on our program we're going to take the bus tour and the airplane tour and combine them and give you an inside look at Hatteras Island.
You know, the maritime history, heritage, culture and social tradition of Hatteras Island on North Carolina's Outer Banks is compelling, to say the least. Whether it's geologic processes, from Ice Age runoff, to Native American heritage, to ships and sailors, and the stories of the United States Life-Saving Service, the history here is compelling, to say the least. Back 150, back 250, back 300 years ago, ships, as many as 2,000 to 3,000 a day, would pass by these very shores less than 2 miles away, carrying the commerce of the East Coast from as far away as Rio de Janeiro in South America up to Newfoundland and Nova Scotia. Great loads of lumber, rice, foodstuffs, molasses, rum, you name it, all on these boats. These were often uneventful trips for these captains and crews, and in many cases, their families as well. But when you reached North Carolina's Outer Banks, that's when things began to change. These great ships and their captains knew as they approached the Diamond Shoals that they were going to be running the gauntlet we know as the graveyard of the Atlantic. The Outer Banks is steeped in legend and lore. Chief among those is the history of the United States Life-Saving Service. We are standing at the site of one of the most famous stations that existed, the Cape Hatteras Life-Saving Station. December 22nd, 1884, the barkentine Ephraim Williams, bound from Savannah for Providence, Rhode Island, laden with lumber, struggled to round Diamond Shoals in some of the most tumultuous seas that the old-timers had seen here at Cape Hatteras in years. She was watched by the men of Cape Hatteras until finally, off of Big Kennekeet Station near present-day Avon, North Carolina, they were amazed to see a distress signal run up the mainmast and require assistance. The men of Cape Hatteras Station met with the men of Big Kennekeet Station and the men of Creed's Hill. Keeper Benjamin Baxter Daly remarked in his famous report that after seeing no one make a move for 30 minutes, I ordered my boat off carriage. Top tide sea running high, current vicious. They were surprised to see that lifeboat clear these mountainous breakers, pitched so high into the air that they could see the decking beneath the men seated on the thwarts. After a 4-mile row, they were shocked and surprised to learn that the Williams had 9 people on board. There were 7 men inside the lifeboat. They brought 16 men in. She was loaded to the gunwales with people. They brought her into shore. After a hard struggle, they finally reached the beach. So momentous, so outstanding was this rescue that in the first 30-year history of the United States Life-Saving Service, 7 of 12 gold life-saving medals ever issued were issued to the crew of Cape Hatteras Life-Saving Station, led by Keeper Benjamin Baxter Daly, and the #1 surfman from Creeds Hill Life-Saving Station, Patrick Etheridge. Welcome to historic Trent, North Carolina, otherwise known as Frisco. I know it makes a grand story. It's a romantic story that the Outer Banks was settled by shipwreck survivors during the Age of Sail. However, the overwhelming majority of the families that are still on these beaches, 300 years to today, the Farrows, the Rollinsons, the Whidbys, the Austins, the Bassnets, the Styrens, the Stows, and on, all came over here from a great Indian war occurring from the year 1700 to 1715, known today as the Tuscarora Indian War. 22 different Indian tribes, the Coree, the Machipungo, the Tuscarora, and on, all banded together, putting aside their petty clannish political differences and resolved as one entity. 25,000 Indians on the warpath ran the European settlers off of the Carolina mainland over to these very sandbanks. The settlers knew that their livestock could survive here. The settlers knew that the area had good water, that because of the tropical current several miles offshore here, the Gulf Stream gave it a semi-tropical environment, 3 corn crops a year, spring, summer, and fall. As a result, even today, this area still holds those very same names that were here many hundred years ago. One of the most popular water sports recreational destinations right here at Canadian Hole near Avon on Hatteras Island. Windsurfing, kiteboarding, swimming, all very popular here. But before it ever became known as Canadian Hole, it was known as the Haulover. We have 326 miles of coastline in North Carolina. We are at one of the very thinnest points along the Carolina coast. If you have a good baseball arm, you can throw a baseball from one body of water to the next, from the Atlantic to the Pamlico. Now, back during the days of sail, the Scarborough clan, who didn't just sail to America on the Mayflower, they probably built her. They were the leading shipwright family in Devon, England. Edward Scarborough, patriarch of the Scarborough clan that is on the Outer Banks today and throughout North Carolina, had here, his descendants had here a device to haul ships, schooners, small fishing vessels from Pamlico Sound to the Atlantic Ocean. They did this because from approximately 1728 to 1846, Hatteras and Ocracoke were connected. If you needed to access the ocean, you had about a 4-day sail to get all the way around this spot. So as a result, the Scarboroughs, the Millers, the Grays, the O'Neills, the Prices, the leading families in Kennequet, known today as Avon, would sail their sailing schooners right up here, some loaded with fish, some loaded with lumber, many loaded with naval stores, which were just simply products out of pine trees used in shipbuilding. North Carolina was the leading provider of naval stores back during the days of sail. The captains would sail their vessels right up to the shore here until they struck a little bit on the shoals. They would offload all the material and then drag the vessels on oak or juniper logs, rollers they were called, with oxen or with a team of big horses until they got her all the way across about 150 yards into the ocean, where the residents of Avon, young men, young boys, would load the cargoes back onto these vessels, and then they would sail off out into the Gulf Stream.
I'm Bo Rayner. I'm a professional surfer, and I've been doing it since I was about 2 years old, and I live in Nags Head, North Carolina. The power of the ocean deserves everyone's respect. Even on calm days, hard to see powerful rip currents are present up and down our coast. Every year, unsuspecting swimmers find themselves in the grip of a rip. Many lose their lives. Such tragic events can be easily prevented with a few local tips. Know before you go and check local beach forecasts before you head out. Always swim near a lifeguard. And if you find yourself caught in a rip current, don't panic. Float, wave, and shout until help can arrive. If you're a good swimmer, don't fight the rip. Swim parallel to the beach to break free of the current's hold. Live like a local, love the beach, respect the ocean.
Text OBX Beach Conditions to 77295 to sign up for daily beach forecast and condition reports. For terms of service and privacy policy, visit obxalerts.com.
Nothing beats a day at the beach, but the power of the ocean deserves everyone's respect, no matter how experienced you may be. My name is Merrick Dabrowski, one of the chief lifeguards for Dare County's beaches. The force of the surf can catch unsuspecting swimmers off guard, and strong rip currents can sweep even the strongest swimmers far away from the safety of the shoreline. Even if you're an experienced swimmer, remember that you're still no match for Mother Nature. Rip currents account for roughly 80% of ocean rescues, but you can prevent yourself from being caught in one by following a few local tips. Know before you go by checking the daily OBX Beach Conditions National Weather Service forecast. 2, always swim near a lifeguard. 3, never swim alone. And 4, watch for red flags and rip current warnings. And if you see another swimmer in distress, notify a lifeguard and call 911. And if you ever feel compelled to assist a family member in distress, be sure to have a flotation device with you. Make sure your Outer Banks vacation is a memorable one for all the right reasons. We want you, your family, and friends to go home safely. Live like a local. Love the beach, respect the ocean.
We had 11 windmills on the Hatteras Island coastline at the onset of the Civil War. This millstone is from the 1804 Bateman Miller windmill, which sat here on the Avon waterfront for many years, almost 100 years. This millstone is made of volcanic basalt from the island of Martinique. In a lot of the Caribbean trade that was going in and out of the Outer Banks. They were used for grinding corn, they were used for sawing lumber, but they were also centerpieces for some of the old timers to come up and hang around the wharf, hang around the waterfront, and talk about fishing, talk about weather, and talk about what their neighbors were doing. We have many artifacts and many yards here on Hatteras Island, just like we have here in one of the Gray family yards here in Avon, North Carolina. We are on the highest maritime ridge on Hatteras Island, approximately 43 feet above sea level. Behind me is the open Atlantic. Flowing northbound out of the Caribbean is the tropical flow known as the Gulf Stream, flowing north at about 6 knots an hour. Coming southbound out of the Canadian Maritimes is the Labrador Current. These two great oceanic currents clash on these very shoals, diamond shoals, creating what we know today as the graveyard of the Atlantic, from the bones of the many ships that lie on these treacherous shores. Old-time sailing ships, just like the tractor trailers that we have on I-95 today, coming up from Maine all the way to Florida. Well, 150, 250, even 300 years ago, I-95 during the age of sail was right behind me out here in the open Atlantic. You had from a couple of hundred to a couple thousand ships a day appearing by here, traveling these great currents, delivering the commerce of the East Coast. It was a very lucrative profession called ship busting. When these ships came ashore during bad weather, coffee, tea, sugarcane, molasses, rum, lumber, clothes, furniture, paper, things we take for granted today. But when they washed up on these very beaches, the local people were stepping all over themselves to get out there and claim this stuff. It was like having a Walmart wash up. Also, on these very shoals, Diamond Shoals, the graveyard of the Atlantic, this is the most dynamic geologic process that we have on this planet. Did you know that in any given 12-hour tidal cycle, there is more sand that moves in and off of these shoals than every dump truck in the world could carry 3 times over? Also, here on this very spot Can you imagine? It is December 1492. Christopher Columbus is sailing north on the Gulf Stream. Standing here on this very sea beach are the Hatteras Indians, staring out into the ocean in shock. What is that? That was the first understanding from mainland Native Americans that there was somebody else out there. In 1590, John White returned from England and found, carved in the tree in the center of the fort at Fort Raleigh, Croatan. We are on the site of Croatan. Many people ask what happened to the Native Americans of the Outer Banks. They married in to the local folks. While it is true that the white man and Caucasian diseases like influenza, dysentery, smallpox killed off great numbers of Native Americans, many of them survived to have their blood run in the veins of the families we have here today, the Midgets, the Pharaohs, the Etheridges, the Austins, the Rollinsons. Words like Pamlico, Chickamauga, Roanoke, Ocracoke, Kennequite, all names that reflect our Native American heritage that thrives here today. Also on this site, material was brought in for both the 1802 and the 1870 lighthouses. We're talking about bricks from Williamsburg. We're talking about New Hampshire granite from the Merrimack River region, brought in here, laden with ships offshore that would anchor in Cape Channel about 5 miles out. 1,250,000 bricks were offloaded onto lighters or scows and brought in here to Cape Creek, where they were offloaded yet again onto cars, and all this material, the stone and the brick, was carted up to the site where the Cape Hatteras lighthouses are today. It may come as a small surprise that there were 2 Cape Hatteras lighthouses side by side. The black and white barber striped sentinel that we are so familiar with today had in conjunction with it for 4 months the old Cape Hatteras lighthouse. It makes a great story, a grand story, that the Confederate forces blew up the old Cape Hatteras lighthouse so that it wouldn't aid the Union effort. It makes a great story that the Union forces blew up the old Cape Hatteras lighthouse so that it wouldn't aid the Confederates. Neither is true. When the black and white barber striped sentinel was completed in December of 1870, into April 1871, the old Cape Hatteras lighthouse stood side by side for about 4 months. And it was the United States Lighthouse Board that ordered the destruction of the old Cape Hatteras lighthouse so that it would not confuse mariners passing by our shores. Now, the Cape Hatteras lighthouse, the old lighthouse and the new one that we have today, at some point have figured prominently in the wars that our nation has fought here, perhaps none more critical than in the Civil War. Union Army, the 20th New York, the 20th Indiana, or the 9th New York at some point occupied the Cape Hatteras lighthouse as a fort. During World War I, German U-boats used it as a locator, and when the U-boats returned during World War II, they operated off our Carolina coast hunting great ships. Did you know that during the first 6 months of World War II, these shores, under the shadow of the Cape Hatteras lighthouse, figured more prominently in the war effort than most of our troops experienced overseas? We lost almost a ship a day from January through June 1942 as the U-boats operated unabated off our shores.
The Outer Banks is unique. When we come down here, we can just relax.
When we were kids, we'd spend as much of the summer here as we could.
It's a lot of fun and cool things to do.
Yeah, I just like the area a lot. Always have.
We've been here in the spring, we've been down here at Thanksgiving, we've been down here at Christmas.
I have been coming here ever since I was a baby. Yep, and every year I love the Outer Banks.
I mean, this is more home to me than where I grew up.
The Outer Banks of North Carolina stir the soul.
Tide's starting to come in now.
What's up, guys? Looks like you found a good spot for us. Yeah.
Hey, I see mullet.
There's more to the story at rawobx.com.
What lies beneath the surface? The waters of the Outer Banks share their secrets, one cast at a time. Total relaxation. Absolute exhilaration. The Outer Banks of North Carolina, a chain of barrier islands shaped by wind and water. Connected by the elements. Just open spaces and endless possibilities.
This 550-year-old tree stands at Kings Point, representing the area that John Lawson, the English explorer, in April 1701 landed at this site. The significance of John Lawson is that he was the first person to put forth the theory that at least some of the lost colonists settled in with Manteo's people, the Hatteras Indians, down near Kings Point. Lawson referred to the Hatteras Indians as having light complexions and gray eyes 114 years after the 1584 expedition of Sir Walter Raleigh and the Virginia Company. This tree also represents the shipbuilding that went on in here for years, with great oaks, great cedars, and great pines supplying the ships that plied the waters of the Gulf Stream from the East Coast all the way into New England. Hatteras Weather Station, constructed in 1901, one of the most significant weather stations that we have in the United States today. The work done here actually was the beginning of weather forecasting as we know it today. Case in point,